It's the holidays, a time for peace, for love, for presents. And do I have one for you? It's Poppy's 50 Shades of Christmas. You're welcome.
At the touch of the leather, I quiver and gasp. He walks around me again, trailing the crop around the middle of my body. He has a small groove or carvings. I'm going to put this to. His fingers trail between my buttocks, spreading oil. Instantly, the plug starts to vibrate. Down there, it feels alien, full, forbidden, but oh, so good. As my body explodes, I'm nothing but sensation everywhere. This way, he murmurs, and abruptly, he leans over, releases my hands, and pulls me upright so I'm practically sitting on him.
Thank you, Poppy. See, Greg, that's how it's done.
Deliciously, slowly, again and again.
Es suficiente, Poppy. All right, time to start the show.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Do me the favor, please, video of putting a camera, training it on the other room there so I can see who is gathering here for the holiday party, because I just saw a whole lot of people out there. We've got Lucy out there. We've got Jeremy out there. Izzy is out there. So we've got a lot of people we can use today at our disposal. Roy is at Dolphin Mall. He is Santa Roy. It is a Roy drive.
Yeah.
He is, I don't know how he would feel about me. Put him up on the screen too, video. I can see here in the preview that Roy is there. Yes, there he is. And so I'm excited to see. I want to call him Stoic Santa, but Roy doesn't want me to make him mirthless. So help me help Roy as he gathers at Dolphin Mall. I am promising right now, as we escalate this toy drive, I am promising everyone that I will match the number of toys given by all of our audience here.
Wow!
I will match.
So you're going to buy the exact same toys? Or
No, I'm just going to make a quick estimate, and then I'm going to get the amount of money that I need to make that quick estimate double the amount of toys that we're giving.
When's the last time you were in a toy aisle? I'd love to go toy shopping with you.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You know what? We could do that. We could do that and make content out of it. You and me, doubling the output of the audience at toy shopping. Let's do that.
Well, have Billy get roped in.
Yeah, it's my last day this year, so get that done today.
What was your idea?
It was your idea. You said
No, I said I'd love for you to do it.
No,
Yeah,
you said
exactly.
you'd love to go shopping with me.
Yeah, I would, in theory.
No, you should do it, Dan. Instead of writing a check, anybody can write a check.
Yeah.
You need to be hands-on in the toy store, picking out every gift.
Find some BOGOs.
Yes, for every Tonka toy that is brought to the to the toy drive, you need to go find a Tonka toy.
Ooh, I like that. A scavenger hunt where you match toy for toy the exact same toy, and your charitable act is not done until you found the exact same toys.
I see the delight in Stugotz stirring to life and giving me work and expenses. And
I love charity, Dan.
I know. I see just a general enthusiasm of getting me to do more work to get more money spent. I see it on you. It delights you.
It's really just you at a toy store.
Right. Yeah, that's not what's happening here. What is going to happen is I'm telling the audience, I can't false promise this. There are rules to this. I'm telling the audience that if the audience stuns us with coming to Corner Coffee Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the Elser through tomorrow, or if they go out to Vivo at the Dolphin Mall, a mall where you can buy toys, I'm saying that whatever your generosity is, you have the ability to hurt me here with what I'm offering. You have the ability to make me have to buy thousands and thousands of dollars in toys if the audience, and I fear our audience's support, if our audiences do the labyrinth degree of difficulty of having to, at 10 a.m. to noon on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, show up at Dolphin Mall or at the parking lot of a Flanagan's that is closed and bombard us at the last minute with toys because I've hastily organized a toy drive. that the company is not equipped to handle at the moment, and the company would have preferred not to have this the week before the holidays when everyone is mailing it in. Everyone is done this week. No one is trying this week.
You've got your foot on the gas.
And I'm like, toy drive, we got to make kids happy. It's urgent. Greg Cote is here in one of the best holiday sweaters I have ever seen.
Amazing.
My book's in the way here.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Well done.
My new book is getting in the way of my sweater. It's a Miller Lite sweater. We love Miller Lite a little too much.
That's not true.
We like it responsibly.
Yes.
Yeah. I gotta learn the art of that.
I like that. I actually like that as a look for all the beer commercials that there are. Greg Cote is a Miller Lite spokesman saying, "I like Miller Lite a little too much" is a great.
No,
No,
it's not. Please stop.
Right.
No.
Responsibly.
Thank you, Mike.
You can have both.
You can love a sponsor so much that you overlove a sponsor.
Yes.
No,
Not with this sponsor.
Figuratively.
Please stop.
Yes.
Greg Cote is trying to bring back the phrase maniac. We think that the phrase maniac has just all but expired.
It has. It's a phrase from my youth, and I credit, I don't know if anybody out there old like me remembers Mad Magazine and Alfred E. Newman. That was one of their catchphrases was maniac. It was very popular in the 60s. If someone was acting crazy and you wanted to like criticize them but in a funny way, you are a maniac. You're acting like a maniac. People don't say that anymore. I want to bring it back, just like groovy.
Jack.
Okay, Billy, why are you laughing? Are you laughing because Greg Cote Tuesday has gotten off to a limp or an uproarious start?
It's just he's kind of taking a little bit to get into his groove, but we'll get there.
I'm mailing it in, like you said before.
Oh, come on,
You
Greg.
know,
Mailing it.
Somebody give me a stamp. It's almost Christmas. What am I doing working here? I'm in a Christmas sweater. I should be Christmas partying right now.
You're
not
doing
talking to a
two
mic.
obligatory Christmas parties today,
Yes,
two
I am.
obligations that everyone has gathered around for. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you like the company office party? Yes or no? Do you like go? And then also put on the poll at Le Batard Show. Company office party. Time of great enthusiasm and dreams or horrible obligation? Because I don't know. You look, God bless football has taken a beating this football season. They have carried us. They have worked hard. They're flying coast to coast. They are trying to make money.
My body hurts.
Stugotz is claiming that his body feels like an NFL player's does at the end of the season.
Worse.
They're killing themselves for you to make more and more content. We're the biggest content machine that there is, just belching out content every day. And Billy and Stugotz do God bless football, and they're tired. They're exhausted. I don't want to speak for them, but I don't know that they want the general mirth of two office parties today.
Well, I'll also say this for the people who like God Bless Football and for those that hate it too, doesn't matter. Going to be dark the next couple weeks on this show. God Bless Football will not because it's playoff time for college sports and for the NFL. So you're still going to be getting your Mondays and Fridays episodes for God Bless Football. We're not going to abandon you here in the height of football season. Also, you can vote for us at sportspodcastgroup.com if you'd like. Best football podcast. We're up against the Kelseys, and we're up against Mina, and we're up against a number of people. So please vote for us because we have stiff competition last year. And last year, we love you guys, but you failed us. We didn't even medal last year. So I don't want to blame you like Dan's blaming you guys if the kids don't get toys this year. But if you want us to win, you're going to have to vote for us. And if you want those kids to have a nice Christmas, you have to donate toys because if not, Dan's not donating a damn thing unless you donate. That's how it works. Match or nothing.
I am going to double whatever it is that the audience produces here, and we're going to be doing it for the next couple of days. Today and tomorrow, it's at Dolphin Mall. It's 11401 Northwest 12th Street, and it's from 10 a.m. to noon, although he's already out there. Chris, can I go to Roy at Dolphin Mall, and is he okay? Have you asked him if I make him a stoic clause?
Let's ask him, Dan. I have not asked him that.
All right, thank you. Roy, how are you doing out there? You look like you're filled with mirth. It is nice to see. The backdrop is very professional. You're giving off Christmas spirit in your eyes. How is everything out there?
Ho, 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 mofos. Everything is all right now. Just waiting for everybody to show up with their new and unwrapped toys here at Vivo at Dolphin Mall. I've already gotten started with this Bluey plush doll and this football for the kids.
All right, thank you. We're looking for athletic balls and equipment, dolls and Barbies, remote-controlled cars, Nerf toys, board games, play food, tea sets, jewelry, craft kits, cologne, perfume, building toys, Legos. The mall is right there.
That cologne just falls out of the sky.
It really does.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's weird.
It really does. Every
Yeah.
time it stops me as well. It
the
does.
kids, huh?
It is. The perfume and cologne is strange. I don't understand why that's in there, but it's in
High
there.
schoolers.
Gift cards, right. They're not just little kids. They're not just toddlers.
They're often forgotten.
Christmas
when it
comes
comes to
for
these
all.
things.
Right, because we forget. That's the real stink of the holidays, that you often forget the teenager because you're busy buying toys for the kids.
Heartbreaking. Everyone wants a cute little one, and then
Right.
you have the
Yeah.
13-year-old.
Let me say this, though. The 13-year-old, the teenagers, they forget about you. They stop caring about the holidays and family. They go through a phase, I'm telling you. They'll come back in their 20s, their mid-20s perhaps, but they don't care.
Well, I was talking
They
about
don't want to
orphans.
be at the holiday thing with the family. They don't care about you. They just want cash.
Right.
That's what they want.
He rolled through that, Mike.
talking about
Mike, he
orphans.
rolled through the fact that you were talking about kids who don't have parents, and he made it.
Teens are teens. It doesn't matter, Dan. Parents or no parents.
So
They're all the
what
same.
what age group do you buy gifts for, Stugotz? Since there's obviously the void in the middle that you don't need to buy for.
Usually before the age of 12, and then I start buying them again after the age of 21.
So 13 to 20.
They don't care about me. I don't care about them.
Got it.
Okay, so we are buying perfume and
Happy
cologne.
holidays, everyone.
We have, by the way, two established authors here. Maybe we could donate some books to the cause. What do we think?
It's worse
gift
than
of gift of literature.
It's worse than perfume.
You know what? Let's do that. I'll get my publisher right on that. I have a box of books, but I ain't giving any away. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so Billy, for the holidays, he's not going to lift a finger for you or anybody else. He's going to keep his book sales. I have found, Chris, this is a good question to ask your mom. I'm going to guess that your father is one, that we could document that your father is one of the least charitable people in the history of finances.
Oh, wow.
No, because he's all about taking for the holidays. It's not about giving. Like, it's not.
No, we give.
Have you bought any Christmas gifts?
Yes. I have not, 5 years ago.
Yes or no?
5 years
Greg,
ago.
Greg.
Hold on, 5 years
Let's
ago.
hear it.
Yeah.
No.
It's a long story.
Greg, how late are you on your Christmas shopping, and what kind of spree is this going to be that's just going to grab some perfume at the end?
I'm always late on my Christmas shopping. Let's put it this way. I'm haunting Amazon right now, and the first thing I look at is not the product or the price. I'm like, is it going to be delivered before Christmas? If it says you'll deliver it, prime delivery, whatever it's called, if I can get it tomorrow, I'll buy anything. I'll buy anything. It just depends on the delivery date. I'm a little behind on my shopping, but I'm feeling good. I'm buying gifts. They're showing up on my doorstep.
You came in here saying it's a Christmas sprint, I'm behind. You came in here saying that, and
I'm a
now
little behind.
No, but because you've been boxed in on being a taker for the holidays.
Right.
You're not a giver, you're a taker. If you could do it, you'd just get gifts and not give a single one.
No, that's not true. I enjoy gift giving. I really do. And I'm a champion rapper. The gift, I make a gift look better than it is by my rapping acumen.
That part
I
is
really
true.
do.
He's a great rapper.
That
I'm a
is a
great
stunner.
So you enhance a bad gift by wrapping it well?
Example, in the White Elephant in the White Elephant party we're about to have later today, my gift will stand out because of the wrapping. That's all I'm going to say.
I find it rare to be friends with somebody for 40 years and delightfully discover something about him I did not know. I am just learning what a gift I am getting right now.
Yep.
To learn that it has been confirmed by his son, Greg Cote is an expert rapper. I would have never had you being that. I would have never guessed that.
The key is the cut and the crease. The scissor work has to be pristine and perfectly aligned. The creases have to be sharp. Use as little Scotch tape as possible. Put an appropriate bow on just about every gift except a stocking stuffer.
You bow? I don't
Yeah,
bow.
I bow.
Nah, bows are a waste.
I'm a big bower, and it has to fit. It has to fit. The colors have to coordinate, the bow and the wrapping, and there's an art to it. I love wrapping more than I love giving or getting gifts. I love the wrapping process.
Greg, when it comes to the cut, are you one that does multiple cuts? Or are you the type that cuts once and then does the slide across the paper?
That's a tough art. to master.
Right.
Okay,
Because if it snags.
and it rips, it just ruins everything. The scissor has to be, and why is it always plural? I'm only holding one pair of scissors.
Great question.
It's
in
weird.
my hand,
I ask
not
myself
scissors.
that all the time.
But if it's not a particularly sharp scissor, you're screwed. You
I
have no
disagree. I
chance.
think it's more on the paper. The quality of paper is the easier slide.
Yeah,
if you
could
get
be.
that good wrapping paper, that good thick wrapping
Yeah.
paper, that'll slide much better than that crap.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's a fair comment. I could give a seminar on gift wrapping. I really
Go
could.
for it.
How do you feel about gift bags?
I'm against them.
Really?
Yeah. It's the easy way out. You know, you're cutting corners.
Honestly.
You're cutting corners.
I admit it. My gift for the white elephant today is in a gift bag.
I kind of want to go out there and see if I can identify
So do I.
Greg's gift
See
just
if it
based on the
stands out.
wrapping.
Yeah.
Well, if I may with you guys, I think I've got an idea here that you guys can maybe help me with because I like Greg's idea of giving a seminar on gift wrapping. I would love to put him in another room with Jeremy and have him give that seminar while actually watching him wrap a gift. I have in my car, my wife sent a toy in today, a lovely unicorn, that we can have him wrap so that we can see what it is that looks like, even though we're looking for unwrapped toys.
You got to match that one, right? And-
Yes, I've got to match that one as
The
well.
exact same unicorn.
I'm not doing it that way. I'm going to
it's
just
not
make a
matched.
You
joke.
should, yeah.
This is what I'm telling
really
you.
a
So
match.
this is what I'm telling you so that I'm not false advertising. I will generally estimate what the toys are worth
No.
and then
generally,
buy that amount of toys in a shopping spree with Billy, and we will give all of those toys over to Branches, fl.org, if you want to give for yourself. The thing that I want to do with Cody is have him wrap a gift here and show us. Get him the scissors he needs. Get him the gift wrapping he needs.
Like a master class. Yes.
I'm surprised and delighted by this, so we will get to it over the course of the show. There are a number of other things that I want to get to, and Roy is one of those things at Dolphin Mall because while I will not continue to bombard you with information on the toy drive for the next 3 days, I do want to get your attention here by dressing up our employees as Santa Claus, whether they like it or not. Roy, are you okay with this being called a Roy drive? Today is not a toy drive, it's a Roy drive.
It makes a lot of sense, Dan. I appreciate you using my name in
Okay,
that. That's
so
very smart.
all right,
Very good.
so thank you. Are you
It
okay?
rhymes so well. It's just one letter off.
Thank you. Are you okay also,
Yeah, the
Roy?
writer.
Are you okay, Roy, also with me calling you Stoic Santa? Is Stoic Santa okay by you?
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds
Excellent.
enthused by that.
All right,
idea.
no, that's good. So you can see Roy at Dolphin Mall, and all of that holiday enthusiasm can pour over you, and the mall's right there. You can go buy a gift, and then you're going to hurt me if South Florida does what I think it's capable of, which is somebody with great wealth just shows up and buys a bunch of toys. And now you're going to hurt me because if several people do that, then I'm going to be in tens of thousands of dollars, and I'm in over my head, and I'm drowning. What do you think this is, McAfee? You think I could throw $100,000 at people for kicking field goals? I don't pay the guests $1 million here to ask me about my vax status.
You should make the kids kick a 30-yard field goal to get a toy.
Oh.
Ooh, I like
Save
that.
money.
Right. Get all the toys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Dan, if you were to guess, where would you think you would acquire that giant bluey that's next to Roy? Where would you go to match that one?
Billy, I do appreciate how meticulous you are on this one. I'm telling you right now, I'm not matching it toy for toy.
You have to.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
imagine you play a
Yeah.
game of memory,
That's what
right?
it's
And you're
called,
just like,
matching.
well, that's a card
Yep.
that matches with another card. Like, no, you need to match the things on the card.
Okay, then what I will
said
end.
it.
What
Match
I,
the force
this
with the
is-
force.
Okay, but this is what I'm telling you. As you and Stugotz try to box me into
What?
more money and more work, this is what
More
I'm
charity.
What I'm going to tell you. Right. So
Be charitable,
Write-off. It's a
Dan.
write-off.
You're right.
It's a write-off.
You know what? You're right, though. You're right. You're absolutely right. I have been swayed. And so now your assignment as our employee
Mine.
is to list in detail all of those toys, what they are, and then help me find someone to go out and buy those toys with my money.
Well, we have a bluey and a football so far, so
That's it.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm all caught up.
All right.
And a unicorn.
You keep a running tab in the back room. You keep a running tab of all the stuff.
Football
we
looks
have.
suspiciously familiar to one Tony had yesterday, too.
Roy, we'll come back to you in a second. I appreciate your
Well,
Panther.
Dan matched it.
Your Panther jersey, I appreciate that you're wearing it. We're going to talk about Panthers and some local stuff here because some of the sports stuff going on is interesting. One, you've got, and let me go through this for a second, because Greg Cote's all excited because if the Dolphins beat the Niners, their playoff chances skyrocket to 12%. So Cote's excited about that. Mike Ryan has come in here and said, Dan, I'm not going to let you off the hook on the Heat. Dan, you cannot let the Heat off the hook for what is presently happening with the Miami Heat. And in the middle of that, the Panthers continue to be just awesome. Just awesome fun, and did something that I don't believe has happened in South Florida's sports lifetime. You've got us caring deeply about regular season hockey games. Like, you got us caring when they go play in Winnipeg or when they're playing in Edmonton, because now you're developing some allegiances to the storylines. You've watched a previous playoff run, and now you know the players from the other team. Like, there's something there. South Florida's getting caught up in something the exact way that a sports fan base has to be built around winning.
Well, it's the perfect time for the Panthers to be good in this market because the rest of the professional teams are dreadful. Like, they're getting all of our attention, and they deserve it. They won the Stanley Cup. They're the best team in hockey. They've been good for 4 years now. But the fact that the Dolphins are mediocre, the Marlins are lousy, like, this is a great time for that organization and the right time for that organization.
You said care deeply, and certainly in pockets, people care deeply, but I'm not one of those Panther fans that gets super defensive. We're building. There are plenty of reasons why this was a struggling hockey market, mostly on ownership after they moved into the new building. This is the first sustained run of excellence from this franchise ever. They've had outliers, a little flash in the pans, one cup appearance in 1996, didn't do much with that momentum, moved to a new place. They had 1 year where they win the Catlantic, and then they kind of disappear and fall off. So this team, with its young core.
25 years with no playoff success, like not even winning, like 25. You got that 96 run, and then you got a quarter century of you'll get to the playoffs with Pavel Bure, whatever, but you're never winning a game. You're never winning a series.
I think, look, this franchise, had it built on the momentum of 96, we'd probably see something a little bit closer to Tampa, which is just one of the best hockey towns in the country. But that's not our story. And people want to make fun of the parade while it's raining. I look at that and it warms my heart because of where this franchise was. We are so far beyond where we were, and we're still building. And I think another cup run will just keep building on that success. And Roy, I'm curious your opinion, not just because you're wearing a Panthers jersey and you love hockey and you have the hockey show, but you've been there through the lean years. And this team, with its stars, because it's been a pretty transient franchise, it's not often that you have guys stick through several years. Guys like Barkov, who've been here, who've grown into men, he's still a young man, but he's been here over a decade. A guy that wants the stardom, that wants a platform, wants to grow the game like Matthew Tkachuk. These guys are building a connection with this town in ways that hockey teams only did in 1996 for a fleeting moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the one thing that you pointed out is they never really signed players to long-term extensions, and that's what they're doing now. They have built a core. And I said maybe 3 or 4 years ago that this team will actually win a cup in the next 5 years. I got laughed out of the studio, and they managed to make 2 cup runs. So to see this team be this successful right now, yeah, I think that this community can actually build around this team and become bigger fans than obviously the Marlins and right now maybe even the Dolphins.
It's a weird way to judge this.
Whoa. Maybe even the Dolphins.
No, well, that's never.
He
gonna
got carried
happen.
away.
This is
It's
a
holiday
football
season,
town.
Dan.
Look, it's still difficult to walk into a sports bar in at least Miami-Dade County and find the TV on a Panther game. It's becoming more commonplace. You don't have to ask for it as much. I occasionally go into sports bars and they have the sound on for huge games. I think it's building, and then a little bit of self-awareness. There's no way hockey ever matches the NFL in this town, but it did in Tampa. And they built on success over there. So it's not impossible in this state, but just as a market demographically, Tampa is much different than the Tri-County area down here. That's a bit of a pipe dream, but certainly challenge the Miami Heat in terms of local interest.
Mike, you got here. You got here before I did by a year, I would say. I would say that in your reduced fan width that the Panthers last year, in just your consumption, was the first time in your lifetime, maybe 96, where the Panthers had run the Heat out of your purview.
Yeah, other than the 2 years before that, too.
Because I'd argue that right now, okay, so 3 years you've got?
Yeah, like 3 years, like the Barkov-Huberdeau team that really started, these guys have been around for a while, they're building.
You're going to tell me now that those Panther teams to you were something you were watching with more interest, passion than, and so the Derek White shot at the buzzer with the Celtics and the Heat, you're going to tell me that Panthers feelings overrode those Heat feelings?
Well, when that was happening, the Panthers had been eliminated from their bubble, but I would say that, like dating back to 3 years ago, the Panthers, if they were on at the same time, the Panthers would get the sound. We're going on an Olympiad now where the Panthers have usurped the Miami Heat, in my opinion, and the Miami Heat have had two real deep runs, 2 finals appearances in that time, but the Panthers have also had 2 finals appearances. I just love the team. I love the connection with it. I love the sport. I think if you compare them in direct comparison with one another, they're going in opposite directions, the Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers.
Okay, but can I, when I talk about, look, Greg Cote is the most historic sports columnist now that we have going in town.
Yeah.
Living, yes. Yeah. Only in terms of stature locally, as a journalism legend, Greg Cote finishes, I think, second to only Edwin Pope in this town. Maybe he's running neck and neck with Dave Hyde.
Ooh.
On columnist greatness. I don't know where he'd put himself on this list. But when it comes to what's happening in this town right now, 2 columnists are calling for the firing of Chris Greer with the Dolphins. I don't know. You can correct me. That still means something to me when newspapers do that. And I don't recall a time in South Florida history when 2 columnists were willing to do that at the same time, since going back to Jimmy Johnson and Don Shula at the very end when Dave Hyde and I were doing it. But I think I have it right when I say it's unusual for our market to call for the firing of a leader. So that's happening with the Dolphins.
Apparently, I've only been around for a year, dude. I'm really confused. I started running this bit in 2017.
I'm not saying that you don't. I'm not. You know what? You know what? All right, listen to me. I'm not going to have you sit here with a straight face and tell me that you cared about the Panthers more when Bam Adebayo was blocking Jason Tatum out at the rim. You have had some of your Heat allegiances beaten out of you by the Celtics the last few years.
No doubt. When he blocked Jason Tatum at the rim, that was Miami versus Boston, and Florida was out of the NHL playoffs in their bubble. No doubt. I was more of a Heat guy then, I guess. But in the years that followed, keep in mind, that was a while ago.
No, but the reason the only reason I'm bringing all of this up, Mike, is because this is exactly the only thing a team can do in this market, like a hockey team, to wrestle the city away from the incumbent in sports. We don't support 4 and 5 things at the same time down here. So if you want to wrestle the town away, do it with regular season games that matter. I'm watching basketball games. I don't care when the Heat are losing to the Pistons by a point.
Yeah, I don't think they've wrestled the town away. I still think hockey down here, in Miami-Dade County especially, it still has a way to go to even catch this fledgling Miami Heat incarnation across the street. It's still got a way to go, but I'm super fine with that. I'm super cool with this really exciting time down here locally where you get to build on something and you bring more and more people to the tent. More and more people get introduced to the sport. There is nothing like playoff hockey. And I think optically, too, you see the ratings for the NBA, they're down. The NBA has a problem. My chief problem with the NBA, I'll wear it, is that I don't like this Miami Heat team. I don't. They're not interesting to me. I'm sick of it. I don't want to watch them anymore. I don't watch the other games either. I'm not at all interested. There was a cup yesterday, didn't give a single shit. With hockey, I'm watching everything. I'm staying up late. I want to see Jets Avalanche. I love the sport. The product is flatly better. The NBA really needs to address the product because everyone can acknowledge it's not going in the right direction.
In Mike's defense, he has been telling me this for years, like years. So, Dan, if you look at the Panther run, you can go back to 21-22. That's the year they had the most points in the league. They lost in the playoffs. That's really when it started. So this is now We're on the 4th season of a great hockey
It
run,
is.
and I would say if the Panthers win another Stanley Cup, let's say this year.
Just make another run. Just make another run.
No, you got to win
No,
some cups.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
you got to
You gotta
some
stack
cups.
the cups.
I'm
Yeah.
good with
Yeah.
winning it again, though. I like
Yeah,
it.
You got to
I'll
stack cups.
take
You
it.
have
Get
to.
the Biden Cup. That amounted to nothing.
If they win another cup, finish your thought. I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were cooking.
I do think there's an opportunity for the Panthers to kind of take over this town. They're never going to be as popular as the Dolphins, but I can envision a day if they stack cups where they're more popular, people care more
Okay.
about them than the Heat.
All right, and so you saying that to me, my purview, lifelong South Floridian, is crazy. It's crazy.
I understand.
So they before we get to the excellence of all of this, because they're the thing.
That's a fine.
He has a
Well,
checklist.
we're
he
not
forgot to
doing
check.
fines
Yeah.
I love how he's holding it below the table as if we didn't all hear it and it didn't stop the show.
Sorry, I apologize. Damn, I can't be perfect.
Who was it?
You're
Come on.
right. Yes.
It was my doctor. I got an appointment tomorrow. I get a robocall reminding me about an appointment, like it's not on my calendar, like I'm going to forget. Mm-hmm. Continue.
Because you've never canceled a doctor's appointment before, huh?
Well, I canceled this one. It was Tuesday, and they snuck me in Friday.
Got it.
Well, that's
Anyhow,
not
enough
tomorrow.
about my personal
Today's
life.
Wednesday, everybody. We keep seeming to forget that.
You were cooking, Dan. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue. Go back to the stove. Flip those jacks.
Flip those jacks. I like that as the new take, the new way, the new way that I enter the room to have a take. I flip those jacks. Can you guys put on the screen for me in the corner, please? Mike mentioned a parade, and it just made me think of the single best parade that I believe Meadowlark Media has ever had. It was Greg Cote's Miami-Dade Panthers win the championship. Connor McDavid is overrated parade that he did here with us, and it just makes me happy to look at Greg, how happy
That
he
was
is.
great. You don't see the crowd because they're just off camera.
Right.
People were lined up for miles.
That was right after the Panthers won the cup. That was our parade in the streets of downtown Miami. So when I say to you guys that it's unusual, because this has been Broward's team, okay? Like, it's hard to get all the ethnicities. I mean, I don't know. Tony and Billy still don't care about the Panthers, right? I shouldn't speak about Billy as if he's not here.
I mean,
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it.
there is a cultural disconnect between, Hispanic Miami-Dade and hockey. It's just not, that they're more geared to baseball and football and even basketball down here. Hockey, they've never had a reason to care, and thankfully this franchise is giving them a reason to care. It's just, they are most certainly Broward's team, and they lean into that footprint. Hopefully one day they can revitalize an area because their stadium's kind of out there near the Everglades a little bit, but it's not impossible. Look, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been a really successful franchise. They have 2 Super Bowls in the last 25 years. They're often in the playoffs. If you go to Tampa, the flags hanging outside people's homes are blue and white.
Well, this is
a hockey town.
Mike, this is what I'm telling you. What I can't believe I've witnessed over the last 5 years is a management leadership that turns from the best offensive team in the sport during the regular season to realizing immediately, oh, that don't work in the playoffs. Got to do that, rip it up. I would have gone with that for a couple more years, and I would have died at the feet of the Lightning and given them the state, because I would not have been bold enough to make the move that brings Kachuk and stability to town. I would not have had the foresight to know that Paul Maurice would become the winningest coach in Panther history already. Mm-hmm. That, which is great. Think about that for a second.
Low bar. I mean,
I know, but
Yeah.
still,
Right.
But still, to see this team be this kind of excellent and to have it be in the middle where the other things that need to happen in your town around sports have to happen so that you can grab a town the way Tampa does. The opportunity is right here, and I just didn't think in my sports lifetime I would ever see a time where hockey could be that thing in both of these markets, even as Dade County yawns largely about the Panthers. But they're making us, I think, care about regular season games in a way I haven't felt before, because I live around bars and stuff. I hear what's happening around me. Hockey is doing something in Dade County I've not seen before.
Well, one of the things that I think will be huge for their growth, because I'm sure they have all sorts of meetings and they bust open the books and they realize, like, we have so much room for growth in Miami-Dade County. How do we get there? If the reports are accurate, there is a Winter Classic coming to South Florida, coming to Lone Depot Park next season. That potentially might pit. A lot of the fans out there might suggest it's going to be Florida against one of its main rivals. It'd be great if it were the Tampa Bay Lightning because you get to draw from that market too. That is a huge moment in time if this Panther organization can keep that momentum going and it crescendos with this huge event down the street over there at Marlins Park. That'd be really cool because that's the first time hockey has come to Miami-Dade County since they left.
I feel like we're overcomplicating this. People like the Panthers and watch the Panthers because they've been good the past years and they just won the championship. Like no one else.
If you're good, people care.
Yeah, exactly right. You're good and you don't blow up your team. People care and they're going to watch because they want you to keep winning. Like none of the other teams have actually really been super close.
Works.
The Heat went to the finals, but like no one actually thought they were going to win the finals that
Billy,
year.
Thank you for being a voice of reason because you're absolutely right. But you understand how to my tinny sports ear, I would totally be surprised by local sports excellence. I've covered like
barely local, honestly. It's so far away.
I'll go anywhere to find it. It's been so long since
it's barely local.
Like the Dolphins have been bad for a really long time. You guys,
but people still watch the sport. They're not checking out on the Dolphins. People like you listen to local sports talk radio. People are irate because they care. Why? Because the product is really good. So I do think that there is a small faction of hockey fans down here that will support the team through thick and thin, like I have, like Chris has, like Roy has,
like I have,
but like you have. But people need to be clued into the fact that this sport is just terrific to watch. They need to be brought into the tent. They need to go into a bar where the sound is on and people are locked in and you're living and dying as a puck crosses a blue line every half second, it feels like, and your season is hanging on the edge of a blade. It's incredible. There's nothing like it. It's infectious.
You guys are proving the point for football, though. Like, you guys just said it. Every other team around here, if they were bad the previous season, the ratings might not be great the next year. The Dolphins rating, like, people are watching the Dolphins even if they were 1-15 the year before.
It's always going to be a football town, and I said that 10 years ago when the Big Three Heat were a thing. It's always going to be a football town. I do think the Panthers have the chance to be the second biggest pro team in the market. For 5 years now, kids have grown up with the Panthers
That's
just being
stunning.
great.
My daughter loves the Panthers. My daughter's the only team she talks about down here.
But also you have season tickets.
That's
like,
true.
You control what your children like.
That's how you build fandom, though.
This is a stunning commentary from longtime veteran columnist Greg Cote. In a town where columnists are calling for firings, Greg Cote has proclaimed the Panthers have a chance right now to be the second best team in the market.
Second biggest. Best already.
At the risk of going syrupy on you guys during the holidays, I am looking right now at 6 people. I cannot see Roy here and his stoic Santa face, but I will say, in the most heartfelt of ways, after 4 very, very difficult years, that I love you guys, and I am super grateful to be able to do all of this with you. Such a great professional blessing, and to be surrounded by gifts everywhere, but none greater than the ability to still do this show with you guys this long into 20 years and still have it be something that people want to listen to. So in the most heartfelt of ways, as if no one was watching during the holiday party season, you guys, I'm super grateful for.
Just us.
Well, mostly you guys, and also the occasional other. Amin, I can hear him in the other room. I can hear Izzy in the other room. I can hear all the people on the outside of this room looking in, wondering, well, what about the gratitude for?
Right.
OLI is exactly right. Billy, what have you placed behind me here? Because I do want to get to Greg Cote. There's so much I want to get to. I want to get to Greg Cote gift wrapping. I want to get to Amin and Izzy have all sorts of takes that they are firing. Oh, now Tony's here too.
Tony's upset. Lucy is upset.
Everybody wants to get their shots off. They're all in the other room waiting to get their shots off while I profess my gratitude to this group of people that is right here, sitting with me right now.
It's fine. There's spectrums of love. You just love them less. That's okay.
Yeah.
So how can we use them for our entertainment now as employees of this company who serve?
I wouldn't phrase it that way.
Well, let's start with Amin. Let's start with Amin out there, shall we? Let's give Amin a microphone and let's get him to celebrate whatever it is that he wants to celebrate here in a victory lap. because I don't know. He was in Vegas stealing company money, and he went for that cup that the Bucks surprised me yesterday. I didn't know that OKC could be held to 81 points. I didn't know that was a thing. So
It is when it's in Vegas.
Yep.
yeah. So, but it's a very important cup that not a lot of people care about, and then the people who do care about it get very mad at the people who don't care about it for not caring about it enough, even though it's an invented, contrived cup to make us more interested in regular season games that the players sit out.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah,
I mean,
big
okay.
cup.
Did the Bucks even take it home?
No, they didn't do the celebration.
They
were-
didn't want the champagne. Their coach was like, let's not do that.
How about that? Doc Rivers, learning from Darvin Ham and the Lakers celebrating with champagne. There are photographs out there of champagne unopened because the Bucks just won and then didn't do any celebrating.
Darvin Ham is a perfect 14-0 in the NBA Cup. As a head
Hall of
coach or
Famer.
assistant.
The greatest NBA Cup coach ever. I mean,
We're going to go here to Amin in a second and see what his victory lap looks like. But the game last night was something that Amin cared about, and I'm finding a hard time, as we just got done talking about hockey, and we just got done talking about how your allegiances change for sports. Izzy's a basketball guy, and now he's a hockey guy. And Mike's tired. Mike's out here telling you, tired of this core. Done with it 2 years ago. Don't want to do this team anymore. I've given up on where that franchise is, while it's this other one that's giving me all manner of hope. Izzy is the smiling face of changing allegiances. What are you laughing about, Billy?
Nothing. Just, heard a joke.
It felt like high school all over again. Care to share with the class?
Izzy, get out of here. He doesn't love you.
I think I know what you were laughing at before.
Now I know. It was concealed. And
You weren't supposed to talk.
And then it revealed itself.
Could it be?
I do think I now know what he was laughing at. Yes.
Found one of those blueies at Walmart, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Expensive.
well,
Looking for the football still.
Wow.
We'll get back
The
to that.
Bluey.
We'll get back
like
to that
$60.
again. Please use Roy visually like that the remainder of the show, where he just pops in staring at us confused from the toy drive at Dolphin Mall. Izzy, how have your allegiances changed in terms of you're somebody who grew up here around me and Cote? You know what? Before I get to that, let me ask Izzy something else, because this is this will make for better drama. I felt in the last segment, I don't know if the rest of you did, Greg Cote bristle when I dared to put Dave Hyde at his side as second best.
Neck and neck is what you said.
Second.
Yeah.
What, I don't know if you guys felt it, but there was
Oh, we
little.
felt it,
There was
yeah.
a little.
I'm feeling it now, for
there was,
sure.
There was
Oh, yeah.
okay, so
Whoa.
let me cover this ground for the audience, because this is good ground right here.
Jeez.
This is good ground. Greg and I got in a lot of trouble with Howard Schnellenberger and Hank Goldberg and Bob Greasy, because at the Clevelander pool at the Marlins Park, we celebrated our longtime mentor, Edwin Pope, as the most legacy-soaked columnist in the history of this market. The party was supposed to, I think they thought it was going to be a wake. Schnellenberger came with patches on his elbows, and we've got, drunk people jumping in a pool. They've had too many drinks
got
because
out of hand.
I decided open bar at the Cleveland.
Well, it also had very little to do with Edwin once it got started.
Yeah, they did have a proclamation from the city, though, calling it Edwin Pope Night or something.
Okay, you got to be careful with Greg Cote. Eulogies, funerals, he'll make them about himself. That's what happened that night. And
Mayor showed up,
Yeah, no-
luminaries left and right. It was actually
yeah.
a really cool occasion.
It was. Yeah.
But it was too messy and festive for the people who were gathered in the memory of somebody who was a distinguished pillar of
I
professionalism.
think Bob Greasy was pissed.
He was mortified.
Who was angriest? Was it him or Schnellenberger? Who was the angriest? Because
Tie for first.
okay,
Really? Neck and neck, huh?
okay.
Yeah, they
But
were
I
both
will
right
say
there.
that Izzy learned, like you learned and like I learned, Edwin Pope is the columnist in this town.
Yeah, he's the king. Always will be.
The things he says were the things that mattered. Anyone who comes after him here in this market learned from him, Dave Hyde included. But I'm putting Greg Cote second, and he's bristling. He doesn't think Dave Hyde. I think of him as 2A and 2B. Dave Hyde.
Jesus.
They're competing newspapers.
Who's A? Who's B?
They've had very parallel careers.
Is Greg A? It's important, Dan.
I mean, the
trust
Herald's
me.
top dog. Well, it's a,
Does Hyde have a trade Merino column? No, I think not.
Does he have a Miller Lite sweater?
come on.
Right.
Thank you, Billy.
Can he
This
rap?
is where I come in on this.
Can he rap? There you go. Rap. They call him the rapper.
All right, Greg, go ahead and start rapping. I don't think you can multitask where you're rapping that gift and doing show with us, but I also want to do it around this conversation because I want to quantify it. Greg Cote, in the history of this market, when you pair him against Dave Hyde, I think their resumes are largely equal.
Largely equal. It's like an extra medium.
Are you trying to be hurtful on purpose?
Largely
What are you
equal.
doing?
Okay.
Merry Christmas, Greg.
You're entitled to your opinion.
I was
Dave
a
said-
columnist at the same time as both Dave Hyde and Greg Cote. I was at the Miami Herald, the paper of record, let's be honest. And there is just something about the weight of a Greg Cote column because you know Greg believes it. Like deep down in his soul, he believes. And this is nothing against Dave Hyde, absolute true professional, a wordsmith, knows how to sort of hit some notes with the fans and the readers, but not quite the same as Greg Cote. Sometimes it might just be a roundup column. Hey, how are all the teams in the city doing? But every once in a while, when he hits you with that big energy, that trade Merino energy, there's nobody else like him.
Greg, can we create optimal conditions for your rapping? Is this good enough for you? It seems like this is a little tight of an area to do this
it's
well.
It's a little tight, yeah. I should probably be out there like on an open desk.
Dan, before Greg goes rapping, he told us how great he was as a rapper. So I went and I collected about 6 or 7 presents for you, and I put them in the back corner to see if you can guess which one of them is Greg's rapping because he did such a great job. Other corner over there, right over your shoulder. Stugotz, maybe you want to get them, then we can kind of assess which one we think is the best rapped and which one we think is Greg's. So then you'll know. Also, I'll let you know, someone has reached out to me personally, and they said that they got wind of you wanting to match every toy that was donated, and they told me that they want to donate a Nintendo Switch and asked me how they can send one to us from Iowa so that you have to buy a Nintendo Switch for someone.
The toy drive is till the end of tomorrow. It's what I have in my possession at the end of tomorrow.
So this person needs to book a flight and get down here. He'd need to deliver it in person.
Look, we will do this better in upcoming years. This is hastily organized, and I have made it. I would like, at some point in the future, to create so many toys that it costs $500,000 because our audience, I have to match our audience on toys given during the holidays. But right now, we're at Flanagan's in a parking lot, and we got 2 days at Dolphin Mall. We got 6 hours to do this, and whatever it is we raise, I'm telling you, I will then estimate that and match it.
Stugotz also, in an effort to help, has made it worse because now no one can see any of the gifts. He wants to move them closer.
I didn't know what you wanted me to do. I mean, Dan, you
They're
can't
out of the shot now.
You can't estimate a match. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You got to match dollar for dollar is what you have to do.
Okay, so what just happened? Look, I think that Billy came in here and they very carefully.
We are never going to close this Dave Hyde loop. I'm telling you right now. It's done, over and gone.
I can tell you what's what. Dave. No, Dave Hyde and I are friends. I mean, he's
debatable.
he's taller than I am.
Did you invite
I'll give
him?
him that.
Did you invite him to your 70th?
I did actually. He couldn't make it. He was out of town.
Some friend. Yeah.
Were you there, Stugotz? I can't remember.
No, I wasn't.
But seriously,
Get his ass.
I'm surprised you remembered that.
Oh, he'll hold on to those. Wait a minute.
I keep notes.
Stugotz,
They're all up here.
Stugotz, if you think he didn't notice that you bailed on his 70th after committing and costing him a meal, you don't know my least giving friend in the history of charity very well.
Well, we do charitable work in the Cote household.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't sign the checks per se, but my wife's a big giver, and since I married her, I get credit for her big giving.
No. Chris, can we ask Erlene Cote, please, how she would describe, if she doesn't have time for us today and can only text us, to give us a word or two of what she thinks of your father, her husband, as a charitable person, a person who donates and gives time, energy, sacrifice, spirit of any kind to charity.
Giving it all.
In Greg's defense, gift giving and charity involves really two primary parties, the giver and the receiver, both of them playing equal roles. If you do not have the receiver, then the giver is accomplishing nothing. So receiving charity is just as equal as giving charity,
Yeah,
I
sure
think.
is.
We will get in a second to this Dave Hyde loop. I do want to close. But why is Lewis behind me right now holding the gifts after Billy tried to produce a segment and then Stugotz, for some reason, got in?
He asked.
Just trying to close loops.
That-
It's
that
just
loop
for
is
you to
open.
guess which one because they were some nicely wrapped presents to see
Got a
which one
mean
you thought was the
still.
best.
Loop it
Yeah.
is.
All right, so
many
let's
loops.
look at this.
Worked out better in my head.
Over my shoulder, there are an assortment of gifts. They all look from here to be wrapped roughly the same. I think I would have to more closely inspect. What is a what is, you guys look, you guys tell me, pick one. They all look like they're wrapped the same. I can't tell any difference between how it is that they're wrapped. They all look like they're wrapped well, except for this one doesn't seem like it's wrapped very well. It doesn't look like somebody put in any effort here. On
Not
this one.
Greg's. Definitely
So
not
I'm-
Greg's.
That's not Greg's.
So if
Not
I
Greg's.
eliminate this one and I eliminate this one.
Eliminate the bag,
That's
yeah.
not
Yeah,
a
that's
wrapping.
lazy.
Yeah,
so
not Greg's.
now I've got three.
Half-assed at that bag.
Whoa, what's that?
What is that? A slab of ribs?
I'm sure
I
that
mean,
person put a lot of thought into that gift.
So it's either this one or this one.
No.
Well, there's one on the floor too. I think that has a bow, possibly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
He mentioned a bow also.
Yeah.
I don't know if you thought
He
that
loves a
one.
bow. Yeah.
Telltale giveaway.
Fake bow.
That's actually not his.
Not a
Disco
real
balls
bow.
and a bow.
Not a real Christmas bow.
Okay, I don't know. Which one is it?
The brown one.
It's the one that looks like it's meat from a butcher shop.
Strings with no bow.
The one that he bragged about how great it was at not that one, the other one with
one
the
that-
rhino on it.
the one that Stugotz called a slab of ribs.
Looks like from a butcher shop is Greg's great wrapping.
Yeah,
That was wrapped in store.
By the way, the rhino is actually a white elephant.
Huh.
What does it
that's
say
clever.
on
Who's
there?
it
Rhino.
from on there
What-
also,
Rhino.
incidentally?
Greg, what does the to and from say? You're not supposed to put those on the white elephant gifts.
I give away nothing. The two, if it is indeed a gift from me, which I'm not acknowledging.
Wait a minute. This says
Two.
from Ricky Martinez.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
What does that say?
It says from Rudy Martinez.
Ah,
Big difference.
that's a fine. Yeah.
It is a find.
Who's Rudy Martinez?
I mean, that's for you to figure out. Does he work here?
Is
does
that
he
like,
not?
Is that like Harry, the guy that was laughing at Lucy? Am I paying?
Who's Harry?
Who's Rudy? Who's Rudy Rodriguez?
Video department, Dano.
Who is Rudy Martinez?
Is Amin ready for his victory lap out there through the holiday party? Is he
Closing some loops.
Is he ready to go? We'll get to Dave Hyde in a second, but is Amin ready? Thank you. Get out of here, Lewis.
And we'll get to Izzy's fandom.
Where are you guys on this? Where should Izzy? Yeah, let me put you in the middle of this.
Please.
There's no bigger fan of Greg Cote than you in the universe.
Well,
I don't know. Arlene might be.
Yeah. Well, no, definitely not.
Around here, no one thinks Greg Cote is better or funnier than you do.
True pro.
Dave Hyde's resume against his resume. How do you stack them?
I cannot remember off the top of my head one singular Dave Hyde impact column
Burn.
that had anywhere near
Attaboy.
the impact of Trade Marino. I mean, it's on our wall.
What's the next biggest one since Trade Marino, though? That was a long time ago.
No, we had one last year.
yeah, McDavid overrated.
yeah.
That was
I
pretty
sit
good.
corrected.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Dave Hyde's. I don't know why it has to be either or.
Because you went icy when I dared to put him in the same category as you when I was comparing legends in this market.
Right. No, I think I'm above him. I do.
Right.
And that's not. If he and I were having that conversation, I would be like, dude, I'm older than you. I've been in the market longer than you have.
What would Hyde say? I mean,
He'd probably say, "Why are we having this silly conversation?"
It's me, Maxim.
and he'd be right. By the way, he'd be right.
Which loop was that we closed?
Did you or did you not go totally icy when I said that Dave Hyde, when I dared to suggest that Dave Hyde was in your class as a columnist in legendary stature in this market?
Well, he is in my class as a columnist, and you could argue he's a better columnist than I am. But although
But
I
you'd
don't
be
think-
wrong.
I don't think so.
Well, how do you measure it? If I say awards, who wins more awards?
Dave Hyde has been in the APSC top 10 more often than I have.
Wow, but who's counting?
Well, I know I've been. I think I've made it 3 or 4 times. I think he's made it probably 10 times. I don't
Wow.
know. No, he's good. He's really good at what he does.
Right.
I probably have a higher national stature, largely because of this show. So there's different ways you can weight it. I think because I'm a protege of Edwin's more directly than Dave is, and longer. I think I deserve that stature in this market, but you could make an argument for Dave.
If there's a tie, and let me be clear, I don't think there is. There is no tie. You're the better columnist. You've been doing it longer. You've been doing it better than Dave Hyde. But if there is a tie, I guess it goes to Greg because he appears on this show once a week. Dave Hyde, he fills in for Joe Rose.
That has nothing to do with being a columnist.
What about the podcast?
Well, you don't have Dave Hyde in here every week. I mean,
My dad also more than doubles his Twitter following.
there you go.
What's
Winner.
the measurement? Not awards? Well, I'm asking. What is the measurement for the longevity? He just gave himself more points for being more at the knee of Edwin Pope than Dave Hyde. I don't even know what that was. Dave Hyde also learned from Edwin Pope. We all did.
But who gives out these awards? Because Mick Overrated deserves an award. That column in itself, top 2, I would say, of the last decade.
It's weird comparing us. It really is. You know, it's like...
Be a wrestler. Let's go. Lean into this. You're like trying to be all...
it's because I know Dave. I like Dave. I admire him. He's very good at what he does. You know, I think I'm very good at what I do. I don't know that we have to...
Let's go out to Amin, who is out taking a busy victory lap. I'm sorry I put you in an awkward position. I did that on purpose. I just thought it'd be funny to rip
you
Dave
did.
Hyde. He's
Yeah.
a delightful man. He wouldn't care at all.
Right?
Amin, that's not a victory lap. This is
He's
Amin.
been waiting for you to close this
Yes.
loop for
All
a
right.
while.
All right, so Amin is there. We need
Is
to
it
get
closed?
some basketball analysis. He was very excited about the Bucks are now Cup champions. They didn't bother to break open any of the champagne. They just left a big cart of things for people to carry in and out of a room there. That's how they celebrated winning the Cup over OKC. I mean, you were surprised as I was to see OKC held to 81 points or whatever it was. Give us your update, still smelling like Las Vegas.
Absolutely not, Dan. I wasn't surprised at all. I told you guys. Hey, everyone was like, hey, this guy, hey, he's a fraud. He's blown more 3-1 leads than anyone in NBA history. Guess how you blow 3-1 leads? You got to be up 3-1 to start. No one ever talks about that. No one ever acknowledges, hey, you got to be pretty good to blow a lead that big. If I was trash, we would never even be up that much. Do I get the thanks? No. Do I get the credit? No. Now everyone wants up a champagne. They brought that champagne out. I said, you know what they're waiting for? They're waiting for us to drink this. Then the next time we lose a game, they were drinking champagne. They were drunk in Vegas.
Keep running.
No way.
Yeah,
no way. Look, let me tell you something, Dan Le Batard. This wasn't Blake's fault. It wasn't Giannis's fault. And it damn sure wasn't my fault. When is anyone ever going to say it's not Dog's fault? Huh? When? I'd like to hear that one time. Oh, the Bucks don't defend. Hey, you guys love Oklahoma City? Guess what? We put them in shackles. They're in the drunk tank down there in Vegas. They still haven't left.
This victory lap is presented by Peloton. Find your push.
All right.
Find your power with Peloton.
Okay, very well done.
He's running in place.
Very well done. That's the second time that's happened to you. You can't tell whether it's push or power that you're pushing. Amin, yes, you need to be more. You need to be a little more tired when doing this. The whole bit.
I'm
is,
Doc Rivers. You think this is easy? Okay. Oh, I'm full of energy. You hear my voice? I have to talk to my throat guy. I don't know why I have a throat guy. Does everyone have a throat guy? Am I the only one? I have a throat guy.
He did say he had a throat guy and he had to talk to his throat guy, and it's the only guy in the league that I thought, yeah, he's probably got a throat guy.
I'm doing lunges.
Yeah, okay.
I'm lunging, Dan.
All right, good. Who else would have a throat guy? Like when Doc Rivers said that with that voice, when Doc Rivers said that, I thought to myself, yeah, that's why his voice sounds like that. He's been seeing the throat guy.
Apparently not enough.
Milwaukee, what do you make of them all of a sudden playing better? Weren't you talking about their schedule yesterday or 2 days ago?
I heard Amin Hassan talking about, our schedule was soft. Hey, Amin, how soft was that? Huh? That was a hard one. And we gave it to you. Right up the...
Wow, really?
Baby.
Really? You could have been more subtle than that, Doc. If you're going to argue with Amin Hassan, you could be more subtle than that. Tell Amin what you really think about his take from yesterday that the Bucks haven't turned any corners. It's soft schedule.
Well, first of all, he didn't say that, Dan. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. What he said was, every great winning streak, every great record is built on beating up on bad teams. And the true test is, when you get through that, did you build good habits or did you build bad habits? Well, I would say, based on what we've been doing in the NBA Cup, the last 3-4 games we played, great defense, Great defense. We've locked them down. We locked up Trae Young. We locked up Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Andre Jackson Jr. You don't know who that is, but he's a hell of a player. I'm losing my Doc voice, by the way.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to you.
See your
Thank
throat
you.
guy.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. I asked for Doc Rivers to berate Amin Elhassan. Instead, he made an eloquent argument on behalf of what Amin said yesterday.
Hey, Amin's a great guy.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate all your help. I wanted Doc Rivers to rip what Amin said yesterday. He's like, no, let me offer some context and be totally fair to what Amin said yesterday.
Nuance, Dan.
Okay, get out of here. I don't want to hear from you anymore. I don't need your nuance anymore. Izzy, I'm sorry you were interrupted before we were saying where it is your allegiances went. Mike Ryan is proudly trotting you out here as the symbolic face of South Florida. I've moved from basketball to hockey.
Well, actually, if you don't mind just leaving this loop open for a second, because I'd like to Chris gets beat up a lot when he misspeaks, right? When he makes mistakes, and he just gets tortured all the time by you, mostly, Dan, who misspeak, by the way. Stouffer Stovetop, probably the worst in the history of the show. Chris read the liner, right? Can we do it again for Peloton, please?
It's Victory Lap is brought to you by Peloton. Find your push. Find your power with Peloton. You thought it sounds like a mistake, but it's actually how it's written.
And it's easy to understand. If it sounds like a mistake from Chris, it probably is, which is why I just wanted to get out in front of this one, say not a mistake.
Very nice.
Thank you, Izzy.
Thank
Loop
you, Izzy.
closed. Now, what was the original question?
Your allegiance,
Fandom, yeah.
your fandom.
Dave Hyde
this
or
one-
Greg Cote?
This one's interesting. Definitely Cote. But so I actually checked in on myself the other day when it was the same day, right, where the Heat lost in overtime to Detroit and the Panthers came back and beat the Oilers. That was one of those deals where I watched the Heat game and was in pain. I actually felt it. I was like, Tyler, what the hell are you doing with 5 seconds left on the shot clock, taking that ridiculous three? And then I said to myself, all right, let me see if the Panthers can soothe me, because they've never been on the same level. And that comeback win did it for me. I forgot all about the Pistons. I forgot all about Tyler Hero. And it was not just like blindly cheering for sweaters and laundry. I know these guys now. I know how they play, and I know how big a win that was in Edmonton.
But this is one of the things, though, that is so cool about how fandom grows up and how you get spread thin as a parent and where it is that you outgrow sports or don't or can't. The idea that the Heat lose to the Pistons and symbolically you're like, those three guys losing to the Pistons, it doesn't mean anything regular season playoffs. Oh, Jimmy was really good. This is probably all over. This probably doesn't have a chance. And then you tune into the other game, and what you're getting, because it's not the Pistons, is, no, this is going over there and beating them at their game now where they score the 5 goals, and they never lose when they score the 5 goals. And you beat them there 6-5 after making sure that they saw you celebrate all offseason with the trophy that Canada would like very much for Florida to give up at some point. Like the bigness of what it is the Panthers felt like made the Heat feel small comparatively, because one of the victories felt like it mattered and the other one was just sort of signaling again the redundant end to an era here, really, because if Mike's given up on Bam, if Mike's out here publicly for 2 years, stop with Jimmy, Bam, Tyler, it's not good enough. Like, you've lost one of your chief fans to hockey.
And there was no Barkov the other night. The thing about the Panthers comparing to the Heat, just when you watch them, one team clearly just won the championship, but still feels like every game is important. While the Miami Heat have done that, at least going into the season, labeled it as, hey, every game's important, Jim's going to try to play every game. You know that it's just not the case. You know that they're experimenting with stuff. You know that they're floating around 1 through 6 seed and they're perfectly happy. Every game doesn't matter as much. So the passion and the want to actually experience the game, it's a little different now from the Panthers to the Heat.
It's such a great point, Izzy, because their approach to these last few regular seasons is an affront to the uniform that they wear. It runs counter culture, and it's not what they sell us. And yet I can't see my best player play because rest day, maintenance. It's just like, get rid of those uniforms. Their approach for many of the most recent seasons has been, let's just get into the tournament, well, even the play-in, and then we'll figure it out there. Well, then I'm not going to check in on the regular season if you're going to check out on it.
feel, though, I mean, I'm sitting the other day, and you've got at my side on their podcast, the OGs, you've got Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller, whose bodies are just sort of broken from, like, working at that military complex across the street, where they're saying even 2010 to through 2014, hey, that wasn't fun. Like, none of that was fun. Going to work, pressure, and we're being run into the ground to create the League of Player Empowerment that would then allow 10 years later for Jimmy Butler for maintenance in general to be around a program. You do understand that the power shifted when Pat Riley went to Vegas and LeBron went somewhere else. Like, the power of all that shifted.
Well, get out of here with maintenance programs. Do you guys remember what the Florida Panthers looked like after they lost to Vegas in the Stanley Cup? Do you remember, like, they were in neck braces?
Body parts everywhere.
Aaron Ekblad played with a broken ankle. And I turn on the NBA, and I got guys on maintenance plans. It's ridiculous. I tuned into the NHL, and aside from Mark Stone or like the Tampa Bay Lightning trying to game the salary cap, I'm guaranteed the best players trying to play, and frankly, a much more physically demanding and tougher sport.
I can't disagree with you there. Like, that part is where you can just drag the NBA for load management, because if you compare my toughness to hockey players, the military's going to pale. Like, if you're doing it as hockey players are the standard for what toughness is, then you're asking an inhumane standard from what it is you're expecting from the bodies that play in those uniforms.
But this seems for Mike, and I think he's right about this, and he's been saying this for a while now, this is a sport-to-sport thing. This is about the product of hockey being better than the product of the NBA right now. And it's hard to disagree with that. It's a much more entertaining product. It really is.
Yeah, the NBA is struggling to reinvent itself in a way with the NBA Cup in-season tournament. Now they're talking about making a tournament of a single-day All-Star game.
Yep.
They're just, it's full of gimmickry. They're losing ground.
Yes.
The Miami Heat have been spinning wheels for 2 or 3 years. They need to break up this big three right now. You know, trade Butler if you get anything for him before the February 7th deadline, because why not?
Whoa, they're another columnist take right there.
Because why not?
Yes.
Why not? He's 30.
Blow it up, why not?
He's 35 years old. If he has any value and you can get anything for him before February 7th, trade him and move on without him. They have to. The thing about the Panthers, I was at the championship parade in a pouring rain. The crowd there.
You were covered.
The crowd there was astounding, given the weather. It was astounding. This is not a niche sport anymore. The Panthers are a big deal in town and getting bigger all the time. 5 years ago, they've had 5 years of sustained competitiveness and being really good. Kids born 5 years ago are just now growing up to become sports fans. What do I want to cover? What's a good team? The Panthers are the best choice in town right now.
Let's not doubt, though, this
winning.
market if they go back to being bad again.
100%.
Like, this isn't like, oh, it's fixed forever.
No, you're right, Chris, but you have no indication. You have to stack cups. That's why you have to do it. But you have no indication the Panthers are going to be bad anytime soon.
You'll never get that from Dave Hyde, by the way.
Right.
So let me get this straight. So market has team that wins title, and that's what. No.
I hear you.
No. Hold on. Because there's a million. First of all, hey, Greg, what did you think about the NBA All-Star format that they're going to do? The new one?
Supposedly, it's several games.
No, don't explain it. What do you think of it? Don't explain it. What do you think of it?
I think it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Pretty dumb, right?
It's gimmickry.
Gimmickry, right?
Nobody's asking for it.
You know where they got it from?
No.
The Hockey All-Star game.
Okay.
The Hockey All-Star format is like that.
I hate
But you guys won the cup, so it's awesome.
No.
It's awesome if it's hockey because you guys won the cup.
If we're talking about All-Star games, they're all terrible. The Pro Bowl should be eliminated. The All-Star game
has been.
That's not the right gambit. The NHL totally replaced the All-Star game with an international cup. Like, you get to see 4 nations, and those 4 nations are putting on their best players, regardless of the NHL season that they're having. This is not an apples-to-apples comparison. And to your point, yes, especially down here in this market, fair weather fandom, totally fair. But I do think that this team and its present run of form is making hockey fans that will like to go to an in-game experience that, if I actually attend, I'm going to see the Stars play when they come to my town.
That takes me to point 2. Point 2 is Mike touts the toughness of the Florida Panthers after Game 7, all those guys embraces. So let me get this straight. Headline: players playing in a win for everything, all for an like win or go home scenario. All put it out on the line versus players in a regular season. Wow! Oh my God! They really tried.
Hang on a minute. You're showing your ass
hold
here,
on,
dude.
we're talking-
Because you don't
hold
know
on.
what players put themselves through.
No, I'm not. That's not my
during
point.
the regular
That's
season
not
in
my
hockey.
point. My point is, you're touting what they did in a Game 7 of the goddamn finals as your comparison.
No, I'm touting what they look like,
Hey.
but I can also tell you I've seen players' throats slashed. I've seen a main artery cut, and I've seen a guy
Congratulations.
come back 2 weeks later. You're pulling examples out of your ass.
No, you're
you
pulling
showed
examples.
it with the NHL All-Star game, and you're showing it here by not knowing exactly what the NHL players put their bodies through during the regular season.
Time out.
Why is everyone so defensive?
Hold on, there's a timeout.
No
No,
timeout.
Number one, I didn't show my ass with the NHL All-Star
Holiday
game.
party
Go
day.
to 2017 NHL All-Star game. Tell me what the format was. It wasn't nations. It was they played by division. They played by division.
Holidays, I mean.
That represented their divisions. They played in a round
Awkward
robin.
party
That's
today.
the ones that did it.
Is this the red eye that you just called me a
all right,
motherfucker?
no, but see,
like,
no,
what
but
is
listen,
happening,
Okay,
dude?
so you're gonna distract from the point I
I'm
made.
not going to distract. I'm
So
trying to have a level-headed
2017 All-Star
conversation.
game. What do you? Where
The
they,
John Scott one, like where the fans vote, like they very clearly had to change the All-Star game, and that's why we have this amazing Four Nations Cup.
My point is to call it gimmickry while praising the NHL, who were the originators of said gimmickry.
You're getting
is
mad at the
kinda
wrong guy. I
ridiculous.
didn't call it gimmickry.
That's what I said. You said I was showing my ass at the All-Star game.
Well,
you
you-
said
you
that
put-
right now.
dude,
you said that right now.
I'm just opting out of this. I don't know what this
you
is.
said
An
right
opt-out.
now.
I have
Hold on.
zero
Did
interest
he not
in
say?
this.
You
Wow.
can run it back on
I
the
don't-
tape.
I'm
Oh,
getting
you
yelled
said
at.
You showed your
All right.
ass with the
Getting
All-Star
yelled
game.
at just because like Joel Embiid
Distract-
doesn't play. Like,
distract
Dan said he
all
didn't
you
love him
want.
earlier, so.
Distract all you want, but you could confirm
Dan's
or deny. Okay, I said that. My bad. I mean, you could do that, or
don't
you
know
could
what you're
distract and say, "Oh, he's yelling.
dude,
oh, he's yelling."
I
would
kind of
like-
lost me at motherfucker.
All right,
to be
all right.
honest.
Now,
I would
lost
like
you. Well, I lost
everybody.
mine, guys.
All right, hold on a second. This is what happens when I cancel the fine bucket.
have a
I can't
holiday
get
party.
control.
Now I
What's
don't
the
want to see
fine?
this guy.
All right,
What's the fine?
Let's hold on a second.
Let him speak,
Okay,
yes.
I don't need you're coming over and you're talking to the official right now. I've thrown the flag and I want to clear everyone out. You yelled timeout. Nobody acknowledged your timeout.
It was a 20.
Let's
Dan.
all gather. I'll
So-
say, Dan, what do you got here? I think I got
Soon after, I showed. You know what? This is the first thing I'm going to do. Okay, and I'm not going to abide anything. I'm just throwing down law here. Okay. I mean, you're going to leave the room right
Oh
now.
no, hold on.
Wow.
Hold on.
He doesn't love you.
I mean,
Well, at least the tone got better.
I mean, just we'll revisit this because this is real and it's the holiday spirit. You're going to leave for a second. Now.
Well, can I hear the rest of the thing
No,
before
no,
I leave?
Amin,
Well, how does he know?
I need you.
There's a monitor out there. You can follow.
Amin.
It's because you're going to say
Skedaddle.
something about me after I leave.
No, I'm on the national airwaves. You'll find out about it.
International, really. It's the
Yeah.
internet.
I need you to leave the room now. And it's only because you're not white or Hispanic.
I don't think you could say that.
I already said it.
said
Now, hold on a second. Izzy, I also
is.
need you to leave the room.
He's
I
Hispanic.
didn't even get to
Yeah,
say
no,
anything.
but Izzy, it's because you're gay.
What?
Oh, wow.
So
I mean, fine, I guess.
no, fine. I'm going to get to because we're bringing back the fine bucket. I'm
Oh,
going to bring
wow.
back the fine bucket, and now there are going to be rules that people abide by because it's gotten out of control. Where a sports show just broke out after
I
I
don't want to be
expressed
live all the time.
gratitude for everything and everyone that was here, and a sports show just broke out around a hugely defensive Amin Hassan, angry that hockey has overtaken basketball in this town.
Very angry.
Which is
Like,
not even true.
But wait a minute, Mike, you don't get the last word just because he's out
I
there.
can step out too.
You go to.
Oh, wow.
You go out there, make up with him because you guys were shouting at each other, and for some reason
I don't want
he's-
to talk to him. He
Make
gave me
up.
like a pat on the side, like we're good. I'm gonna need a minute.
But you
Seriously.
love him, and he's white, and he's
Get into
Hispanic.
get into
I
a
know,
fist
I know.
fight.
I'm so straight. I'm so
Okay,
straight.
all right.
Many are saying
All right.
If he goes mother bleeper, it just
Right.
comes off different.
it
Okay.
is. Like that was so rude.
I need help
really
with
was.
everything that's happening
It was
here.
a mean comment.
Yeah.
Dave Hyde's written 4 books.
A means to an end.
Does that influence the rankings, Billy?
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, part of them are cosigns, right? So, like, Greg has his book about the lion, right? But Dave Hyde has swagger. Jimmy Johnson's
Jimmy
book.
Johnson.
Yeah, and then he also
that was a big one.
He also has Perfection with Bob Greasy.
Mm.
Then he has Still Perfect, the untold story of the 1972 Dolphins, and
Beating
then
a
the
dead horse,
Dolphins
that one.
at 50, Legends and Memories. Hey, one trick pony, some are saying.
Wait a minute. If we paired his Dolphins at 50 with Cody's 50,
Fins at 50.
if
Fine.
we put, which
Ooh, he got Dolphins?
I'm
back,
Fins
Dan,
at
you gotta
50.
pay
He's
now.
Fins at 50, yes.
I'm
Yeah.
saying if I put them next to each other, I want to do a more empirical measurement of whether or not Greg Cote is better than Dave Hyde because our biased crew thinks so.
I think we have bigger fish to fry right now. Everyone's screaming at each other.
I have a loop I could close.
Yes,
Mike
please,
Lupica.
please.
Hey!
Yeah.
What is the loop? No, please.
I texted my mom, how charitable would you describe Dad?
Oh, God.
She goes,
Hold on.
Oh, that's long.
Hold on,
Wow.
hold on. This is a big
That's
one.
a lot of
This
reading
is
that's
a good
coming.
one.
Slow down.
Hold on. This is a good
Slow down.
wait a minute. Greg is now scared because he's been cornered.
Slow down.
All right, good. Hold on a second.
Let's breathe.
That escalated quickly. The holiday festivities have gotten off to a fiery start.
Wow.
Again, not what I saw coming, an argument about hockey versus baseball being the trigger because
I don't know. I think you kind of like what's going on today.
It was hockey versus basketball. That's a fun.
Yeah, that's another fine.
Sorry, excuse me.
Pay up.
Chris, can you please tell me what your mother says to the allegation that Greg Cote is one of the least charitable people in the history of charitable finances?
okay, so I said, how charitable would you describe Dad? She writes, quote, he is a very sensitive and caring man, but in terms of monetary giving for people less fortunate, he has a low bar of what he thinks is enough money. I would give $100. He would think 10 or 20 is fine. He lives in 1970s, 80s standards of money.
Huh.
But the gift of knowledge.
Right. And caring. Yes.
I'm a caring person.
Right. Yeah.
And I've tried to explain it before. My wife is very charitable. Like, she gives to, I would say, easily a dozen causes. Too charitable,
It was just
really.
in your ear, yeah.
Right.
That was just in your ear. Have you
Yeah,
forgotten how to
yeah.
do the show? That was a joke told to you
Right.
to continue.
Too charitable, you could argue.
They were
you know.
Right.
They
yeah.
were.
But,
I mean, 12 charities, a little bit too
How does
much
he
to each,
still
right?
not see how you guys
There's a lot
are
going on.
producing
He
it?
laughs at the joke.
No, Billy,
He's like,
Chris,
why is Dan stepping on my
you
punchline?
gave him the.
He's supposed to be wrapping a present, I
You
think, too.
gave him the punchline. You gave him the close to the segment. He laughed, took it for himself, and didn't share it. This is very exciting. I don't know what Nick Turturro saw that made him giggle so much with David Samson here. David Samson of Nothing Personal has landed the get that there is anywhere in baseball today because his rage speaks on behalf of all Yankee fans, and his place right now, his backdrop, looks exactly how I would have guessed it would if I thought, where does that rage come from?
Yep.
It comes from those black and white photographs behind him. He is mad and pissed off on behalf of several generations of Yankee fans.
And a sad Jets helmet to boot.
Oh, my God. This fandom right here represents the voice of New York sports and betrayal and hurt. And thank you. I can't tell you how much we appreciate your rage. Let's play for everybody. Okay, Nick Turturro's rage when Juan Soto betrayed his beloved Yankees.
Hey, Juan Soto, I got two words for you. F you. That's right. F you and the horse you rode in on, and the cavalry behind you. That's right, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm taking it personal. We gave you our love. We gave you our heart and soul. It wasn't enough. You turned your cap around after the World Series. I saw that move. 700 million, 730. Yeah, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Guaranteed years, it wasn't enough. You don't even choose the Dodgers. You don't even choose the Dodgers. You go off Broadway to the Mets. You don't want to be on Broadway, and you don't want to be Judge's guy. You don't want to be Judge's partner. Oh, that's right, Judge. Now it's your team. That's it. Let's stick it up his f***ing ass. That's right. Let's go out. Let's get Burns, Fried, Bregman. Let's Teoscar. I don't give a f***. Now we're not f***ing around. Take those grungy, whatever those stupid Mets.
So good.
I love the throwing of the bat.
It's great.
Yeah, well, my son said,
can we break something? And I said, I don't know. Let's throw a bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a prop bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Smart kid.
Yeah, he's smart. He's sort of the genius behind this stuff. I've been doing this for years, like off camera, and now it's like I'm doing it on camera. So
but you're an actor. This was not acting. This is rage. I looked in your eyes. You were not there. You. This was not acting. This was the most real thing you've ever done, sir, on film.
Well, baseball is very real to me. It has interrupted my life many times and almost ruined my marriage, a few things. So it's taken my emotion. The day of the game when the Yankees are playing, even a regular season game, my mood is affected by whether they win or they lose. And, it has a big impact in my life. I'm not getting paid for this. This is like, I should be. I should be on a panel. I should be on a show.
Yeah.
I should be a co-host. But I don't know. People are afraid of me in baseball. They're a little vanilla, and I'm a little chocolate or whatever. Maybe I'm a little too, they think too wild, or they can't control me. But you can if you just tell me what you want, because I can handle myself with baseball. When it comes to this game, I know it. I don't have to research it because I live it.
Nick, have you tried caring a little less?
Yes.
And
no. A couple of years ago, I think I was on WFAN, and I said, I'm not as into it. I don't know. Maybe it was COVID. There was no crowd. I was kind of pissed off about that. No fans. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not. And they were like, you're lying. You're lying. You're going to come back. You're not you. And they were right. And it just didn't happen, even without fans. A couple of years ago, I got so pissed off at Bob Costas, I turned him off. I muted him and watched the games in Spanish. People think I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm not. And I couldn't understand a word. And these Spanish guys, that's fantastic. I don't give a hoot. I can't take Costas no more.
Oh no!
What Bobby Q do?
Dan's getting a call from Bob.
Yeah, watch out.
Talking. Let me watch the game. I said. I was yelling at the TV. Let me watch the game, Bob. Please shut up. And he wouldn't shut up. He would not shut up.
It's his job to talk.
If I saw Bob Costas, I would have probably, when I'm watching the game, he was like interrupting me. And I was just like, can I watch it? Can you let it breathe? Please? We know you know a lot about baseball. Stop being, smarter than the game. You're not. I love these guys that think, just even like when I'm at a game, I'm like, all right, enough. I'm trying to watch the game. People want to talk to me, and I'm like, I'm actually here to watch it, not to go eat a steak.
Turn your phone off tonight, Dan.
I want.
That's what killed me in Game 5. Somebody gave me rich tickets, and I was in those stupid, those legend seats. I went to eat, and the fifth inning happened. I blame me. I put the Maloiki on myself.
Oh, boy.
By going, I'll go to the bathroom, I run right back.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
superstitious. I don't fool around with that stuff. And I should have never.
What did you do? What did you do?
It was 5-1, and I said, let me enjoy the food a little bit. What a dumb mistake. I ran out there when the bases loaded. I almost stopped it. But the baseball gods came out. I almost stopped it. He struck out Lux. He struck out Ohtani. And then that play at first base happened, and I knew it was over.
All right, David Samson.
I know in baseball when things are over.
Hold on, Dan.
Right.
I tell people, it's over. The game is over. Go home now.
Yeah.
5-1, I don't care. Go home. I'm telling you now, the baseball gods came out. They decided. Well, they decided when Freddie hit the home run. That series was over.
Oh.
It was. That's baseball.
Yeah.
If you understand, when you see a moment and you go, oh, my God, they go, what's the matter? I go, what do you mean, what's the matter? What's the matter? Were you not watching? The game is over. It's now over. They decided it's over. Whoever that guy is, whoever that baseball god is.
Series was really over when Valenzuela died. Baseball god said, you know what? The Dodgers need one.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that was the it could be. I don't know. I didn't.
You're not ruling it out, right?
No, I didn't think it like that. I knew when they were bringing in Nestor off the couch. That's when I went ballistic. You know what I mean? I just knew. You know what I mean? There are certain decisions where you go, oh my God, please let me go down with, if I have Mariano and I have Clemens, let me go down with my best. Don't put somebody in the middle and do that to me.
All right, I need you to relax for a second, if you can. I understand that
I thought you wanted some energy.
I know.
Right, no, don't relax.
doing, Dave?
Right.
Fat Joe wasn't the Yankees' best, if we're going to be honest, too. I mean, Fat Joe coming out after Ice Cube, what was that
Fat
about?
Joe, that's a dumb move. The Yankees don't really show me enough love. They should. I mean, I could rile them up. They let me make a hype video years ago. I was shocked for opening day. I was like, me? They're going to let me do that? They did. Every now and then, they know I exist, but
Right.
they could embrace me a little bit.
Right.
Just because I'm critical.
No, we need to make you honorary Yankee fan. Look, you spoke on behalf of Yankee fans there.
Well, you do, but the Yankees don't.
All right, well, we're going to put some pressure on them in a second, but you're a bit of a maniac, and so I need to slow you down for a second because
that's the word that messes me up.
Yeah.
This is knowledge. This is not just a maniac. This is knowledge with some heart and some passion.
Okay, let me show you again this video. Perhaps you missed it the first time I showed it to you. Let's get that video again and play it for Nick so that he understands how it is.
But there are other moments of me that you only want to show the heightened moment.
That's right.
That's what he does,
right.
Nick.
That's
Yeah,
what I do.
yeah,
That's right. Just clickbait. That's all I am. I just want to get the clicks of look at this. This is just a moment in Nick Turturro's life when he hates Juan Soto the most.
Hey, Juan Soto, I got two words for you. F you. That's right. You and the horse you rode in on, and the cavalry behind you. That's right, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm taking it personal. We gave you our love. We gave you our heart and soul. It wasn't enough. You turned your cap around after the World Series. I saw that move. 700 million, 730. Yeah, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Guaranteed years, it wasn't enough. You don't even choose the Dodgers. You don't even choose the Dodgers. You go off Broadway to the Mets. You don't want to be on Broadway, and you don't want to be Judge's guy. You don't want to be Judge's partner. Oh, that's right, Judge. Now it's your team. That's it. Let's stick it up his fucking ass. That's right. Let's go out. Let's get Burns, Fried, Bregman. Let's Teoscar. I don't give a Now we're not around. Take those grungy, whatever those stupid Mets.
Samson, you brought us the delightful Nick Turturro, and you brought us also Bob Costas recently on Nothing Personal, where Bob Costas said goodbye to the game with great grace, and Nick just told him to bleep off and get the hell out of here.
This is a total disaster.
Oh, it's great. What do you mean?
It's knowledge.
Yeah. All right, a couple things of cleanup. Number one, Nick, the Yankees absolutely know you exist, and they love you and appreciate you, but they're not going to give you anything free. Number two, Bob, we love you. I agree that sometimes there are people who don't get you, but we get you here at the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz and Nothing Personal with David Samson. So please, just know that Nick is speaking on behalf of Nick at a particular moment. Thank you. Back to our regularly scheduled late segments.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad you clarified that. I'm glad, because I have nothing against Bob. He's a class act. He knows a lot about, I'm sure we could talk baseball forever. But when I'm watching the game, Bob, that's when you sort of got in my way a few times. And I have nothing against Bob. No, he did, because sometimes.
Nick, that's all he does. That's
Yes.
his job. He's the best ever of describing what you're supposed to look at.
No, but
now
Nick,
you're looking
David,
at it
you're wrong.
in a different way.
You're
No,
wrong.
no,
He's
no,
telling
but
Bob to
David-
dial it back. That's what Nick is saying, and
Yes.
I agree with Nick. Yes.
Yes, because I'm watching the game with anxiety,
Right.
and his voice keeps talking, and it's talking about maybe it's bringing on a negative vibe for me. So I'm like, please just talk a little less. There's a lot of guys like that, and they just give you that kind of anxiety.
I just think, Nick, that during your mania, you may not have realized that Aaron Judge was not exactly the recruiting perfect person for Juan Soto, because what we've discovered, which I think you know as a baseball fan, it's not that all the players love each other off the field. And Aaron Judge, really, he wasn't interested in recruiting Juan Soto. And it turns out Juan Soto didn't really need to play with Aaron Judge or enjoy playing with Aaron Judge. So your mania regarding him not choosing Judge, of course, he was choosing himself, which he's been doing his entire career.
Yeah, well, he's a solo act. It's pretty obvious that he's like a robot, like a character in a video game. I've heard a few things about him, so I'm not surprised. He's a phenomenal hitter, but I'm not surprised that he's a bit of a weird robotic character. Like those games that you see, those video games, he's one of those guys. I've heard it, and I believe it. He is like this.
All right.
He is
All
like,
right. I think we've gone too far when
Yes.
when Nick is out here saying I've heard things about him that's draped in stuff I don't understand.
I want to know what he's heard.
Yeah,
no,
what have
I
you
don't
heard?
want to
No,
do
I
this.
do.
No, I don't
He's
want
like
to
one
do
of those
this.
video game guys
No,
I've heard.
no, look, I don't want to talk anymore about slandering Juan Soto because Nick Turturro has heard some things. What I do want to do is examine how betrayed Yankee fans feel right now, and if you want to audition for this sports show that you speak of, because I do think you'd be very good at this because of the way you care about baseball and know its nuances. I'm guessing that you and David Samson disagree on what the Yankees have done since then, because I don't think David Samson thinks the Yankees are very well managed right now. Do I have that wrong, David?
No, you've got it right. They had a plan B that they just thrust themselves into by signing Fried to an absolutely outrageous contract, thinking Cody Bellinger is the answer to their center field prayers, who's so overpaid it's hard to imagine because he won an MVP once upon a time. And then Devin Williams, he is dicey because you can't build your bullpen during the offseason. We know that doesn't work, but the Yankees had to respond to Nick because Nick lost his mind. So Brian Cashman had to make all these moves because Hal was worried that Nick was somehow going to throw a bat in his general direction. So they've been signing players sort of like drunken sailors.
well, I mean, I don't know if they're drunken sailors, but they had to respond on some level. Max Fried may have gotten too many years, but he's not too shabby. You know, you win with pitching, David, and the Yankees did not have enough pitching. If Max is healthy, I think he can be easily a number one, number two guy. He's way better than Rondon as a partner to Cole. And the bullpen, I agree. I don't know enough about this Devin Williams guy. Maybe he's been dicey in the postseason. You need another lefty out there. The Tanner Scott is there. Even bring back that dirty-looking guy. What's his name? Tim Hill. I mean,
all right, wait a minute.
What do you mean?
Wait a minute. I don't know. Dirty-looking guy.
Tim Hill, I mean.
Oh, you know what I mean. Grungy. He was grungy.
I got it,
He reminded me of a guy in the 70s called Dick Tidrow.
Ah,
He
classic.
called him Dirt. It was a nickname. Don't take it like he's dirty. He didn't wash. I'm saying he reminded me of like one of those guys. You know, those guys in the 70s, they were like.
I'm just saying you got to be careful there, Nick, when you're doing the sports commentary game. If you want to get into a debate show with David Samson, you got to be careful about calling somebody a dirty guy in these troubled times.
No, I mean dirty in a way that he looks like, you know,
We got
kind
it.
of guy.
We got it.
We understood.
Just damn you, Dan.
I'm not trying to get you in any trouble. I just wanted you and David to argue about something because you say you think you can do this, and David's very good at it. Look, he booked you on our show. You guys have probably been arguing about things for 3 days, I would guess.
Listen, he's got a point on some level, but, Bellinger has a great swing for Yankee Stadium. I think he could easily hit. He could easily hit 25, 30 home runs in that bandbox, and a fly ball is a home run. That's a joke of a place. And maybe Devin Williams comes to the Yankees. Maybe he doesn't have to be the ninth inning guy. Maybe he can be an eighth inning guy. So, I mean, Cashman, I'm not a huge Cashman guy. He's been, done a lot of things to upset me in the past, but he still has more work to be done. I don't think they're done. They're going to get a first baseman. They need a third baseman, too. I mean, I'm not against bringing Alex Bregman over here.
He's not coming.
He's a winner. He's
Nice of you, yeah. We'll take Alex.
Yeah.
I guess.
So Dan,
He's not
Dan, the argument started because when I got in touch with Nick, he was not aware that I was president of the team in 2003 when the Marlins beat his Yankees. And so he did some sort of ridiculous Google search of some sort, or maybe his PR people or his brother, who is a star of my favorite movie, Fearless #1. Somehow he discovered that I crushed him in 2003, and he had this visceral anger about that, thinking that they were the better team when, of course, they were the far inferior. Oh, my God. Your team was so far inferior to us in 2003. It's not even worth discussing.
Wow. Well, we were flat as a button. I mean, you won that Bartman series. What'd you win? You won Steve Bartman.
Steve Bartman had nothing to do with it, Nick, and I told you that via text. I asked you not to bring it up because it had nothing to do with Steve Bartman. He was just sort of the easy thing because of the Billy Goat curse.
Asked him not to bring it up. I mean,
Really?
Come on, how could you not bring up Bartman?
Nick brings up what Nick wants to bring up.
The Yankees had just won the World Series like a dramatic. I was at the Aaron Boone game. So the Marlins were an afterthought. They were an afterthought.
I hope you
So
like
when the
your
Marlins
pennant
beat
ring, Nick.
Cleveland, they caught a break in that world. The Marlins
I
caught a
hope
couple
you
of
like
breaks.
your pennant ring.
This guy's good.
What? Pennant ring?
That's all you got. No 3. A little pennant ring. Oh, you won the title in 04. No. Oh, no. Sorry. That was the Red Sox when you had a 3-0 lead.
I asked you not to bring it up is something I did not expect to hear. Nick, thank you for being.
Thank you for bringing it up.
He can have 03. That's okay. He can have it. You know what I mean? The Marlins are what they are. You know what I mean? They have a storied franchise, right? So they're the Florida Marlins. Don't forget
See you
that.
later, Nick.
Yeah, take it easy, David.
Wow, I love it.
All right,
You're hired, Nick.
That's the start of a new show right there. There's a new baseball show in there somewhere with Nick Turturro and David Samson. We will try and get him on again because I want to get him fired up on sports.
I was thinking just Nick.
Yes. Well, this was the Nothing Personal sponsored portion of our show where we talked to David Samson, and he brought his own guest today. But there are a number of things that I did want to talk to him about, including what it is that we were talking about with Greg Cote a second ago, which is who's the better local columnist in town, Greg Cote or Dave Hyde?
Well, I had issues with both of them because they were both incredibly unfair to me and to our team over the years. And the way we would figure out who we disliked the most was always based on the most recent column. And we would try to get them to write something positive. We would beg for it, and none of them ever did. Cote was rude with great reach. Dave Hyde was way more biting and way more grumpy about it and way more angry about it. So to me, it was a tie for the sort of lascivious, prurient writing that I wanted no part of.
All right, hold on a second. I'm going to just throw total chaos at this situation.
This is so exciting.
Hold
on, Dan.
Nick, since you're right there, since you're still with us, hold on a second. I'm going to give you what I hope is a little treat. I don't know if it's a little treat, but we have had some traffic get congested here. And so as a filibuster, I would like our camera crew to focus in on Greg Cote, who is right now at a live mic and has been taking about 45 minutes to wrap this. He is struggling with the wrapping of this gift.
That's why he's so great at it, Dan. You got to take your time with these
all right,
things.
I'm going to go to him in a second.
Started yet?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go to you in a second. You haven't started yet? You're just waiting for your cue? All right.
Yes.
As you do so, you're going to have to keep waiting because Michael Kay has arrived.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Michael Kay, the legendary Michael Kay, who I have loved for a long time around here. And I don't know how Nick feels about him as a Yankee fan, but a distinguished career of Michael Kay. I wanted to celebrate it today, but now it's collided against David Samson and Nick Turturro. So I'll just bring Michael Kay in now as we do this because we're live. Look at him. Look at the smiling face. Look at the smiling face of the road has beaten me up for years, kid. I've been doing shows in this town for 30 years.
It's football season.
Every day I'm getting ground down by the national sports radio machine that needs to keep being fed. And look at it. It's ravaged him. That Yankee baseball and people caring like Nick Turturro has made Michael Kay a legend in New York. And also somebody who thinks what of Nick Turturro's active rage toward your beloved team, Michael, as he rails against Juan Soto. Okay, that's very good.
He's a video game character too.
We're working on it.
So
Is what I got.
Yes.
We're working on it. Is what I got from Lewis as I tried to combine those two elements. We're trying to get Michael Kay.
Was that a robot?
My God, it's Kane.
I'd be interested in Nick's feelings on Michael Kay. Does he talk too much?
Michael?
Yeah.
I like Michael. Michael's a longtime Yankee fan. He lived out his dream as a Yankee announcer. He's got the best job in the world. I like Mike. I have nothing against Michael Kay. I'd love to come on and do an inning with him or something like that.
Okay.
My man.
You know, I mean, but I have nothing against Michael. I mean, other than that, he's a very lucky man to do that job. You know, I mean, but he's a great guy, great Yankee fan. I mean, I saw him walking around after we got eliminated. You could tell how sad he looked, how lost he looked. I was feeling the same thing. I was looking at him going, wow, you could tell Michael looks.
Nick, if we brought in Juan Soto right now, would you have that same sort of calm, hey, Juan, man, thanks for last season, love you, good luck in Flushing? or would you be willing to show him that rage right with him as our guest?
With him? Oh no,
Yes.
I could show him the disgust and rage. Sure. Good. I had not. There's nothing. There's no emotion. He just, he left me for whatever.
Because we show you Michael K, and all of a sudden you become this almost uninteresting, normal guy. And I'm just trying to understand, is it a...
David, I am not just a lunatic. I'm not just a maniac. I mean, you guys want to label me as this psychopath.
Not me.
There is a part of lunacy with me. There is a psycho side to me. But I'm telling you, there are other colors. It's like it being an actor. Am I a one-note actor? Can I only do one thing? That's not that interesting. It's interesting when I can switch gears and then just calm down and be a little normal. I can't be always that. Even my brother tells me, Nick, don't just be a lunatic. You're more than just a lunatic. You're more than just that. That's what makes you interesting.
I think what David is saying, forgive me if I have the accusation wrong, are you suggesting, David, that Nick Turturro bowed in the face of Yankee royalty, Michael K, big voice of the team, face of the team? Are you saying that Nick Turturro tuned down his rage out of respect for Michael K, voice of the Yankees?
It certainly felt that way to me, because the vigor and the passion, all of a sudden Michael comes up sounding like a robot with an outstanding holiday party day technological issue. And I saw Nick sort of recoil as Michael was about to discuss whether or not he knows, loves, and appreciates Nick's rage.
Well, Michael, I am told, has just joined us again, and Lewis said very comfortingly in my ear, I don't know about the audio.
Okay.
So
we're going to try it again.
Yes,
huh?
it was lovely.
Right.
As we have all of these things collide together, I'm pleased that Lewis is in charge to guide me through these stormy seas. Can Michael K, if you can hear me, I'm sorry.
I hear you great.
Yes, look at this. We have executed this. Congratulations, Lewis. We brought live people together. Michael K., have you heard of Nick Turturro's ranting? What are your general thoughts as someone who has recently shown disgust for the sports fan?
I've heard every single one. And I love Nick. I love him as an actor. And I think a lot of it is performative. I just worry about his health, especially the one where he threw the bat. But, yeah, I love Nick Turturro.
Performative? Nick, that's an insult. Performative?
Well, Michael's trying to be a little theatrical. So, and sometimes things are heightened a little bit. Some of these videos are heightened a little bit. But when I'm watching the game, that's different. When you see the rage during the game, during the at-bat, during the moment, that's 100% organic. This stuff, you got to understand, is a little heightened. It's a little exaggerated. Everything in life gets a little exaggerated. You can't think I'm going to beat the hell out of Juan Soto because I threw the bat. But am I mad? Yeah. How mad I am? It depends in the moment. But I mean, it's sports. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a very, very hardcore fan. But, not everything you take, especially social media. Come on. You know what I mean? But watching
Michael, I would ask someone, a fan like Nick, your job is to try to explain what Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner's plan B is. And are you willing to and able to convince Nick that the plan B that you've seen is actually making the Yankees a better team, when DraftKings has a futures line that says the Yankees are the exact same? Their win total is 93.5 with Soto. It's now 93.5 with Fried and with Williams and with Bellinger. But how can you convince Nick that, hey, everything's fine?
Well, David, one thing that I don't like is that, people are saying, well, they're going to be better without him. You can't lose Juan Soto and be better. Now, maybe the sum of the parts. Juan Soto is a transformative player. He's just one of the greatest hitters that we'll ever see. It's hard to lose him. That's why the Yankees went up to 760. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to go to the World Series again. They have an easier path in the American League. I think the moves they've made so far have been great. Fried's excellent. Devin Williams is excellent. I think Clay Bellinger is a big fit. They need a first baseman.
Cote.
Third baseman.
Cote, that's a fine.
Oh, what did I say? Clay again?
Yep.
Why'd you do that?
I
to
like
him?
his dad so much. Yeah, I'll just call him Bellinger.
Why did you? We thought you were reprimanding Chris Cote there.
I was like, what did I do?
Because you corrected Michael K so sternly. Look, Samson.
The muscle memory on Chris Cote when
Samson,
he hears that word, to automatically assume he did something wrong.
You're new to this game, Samson. Look, Michael K's been mispronouncing names for 30 years.
Attaboy,
all right,
yep.
he was forgetting names when you were just an embryo, Samson. Like,
Wait
you
a
know
second,
what he
Dan. I
meant.
didn't mispronounce it.
You know what
I
he
didn't
meant.
mispronounce it. It's not like I called him Cly. I just got the wrong name. It's not a mispronunciation. Be better.
Thank you, Michael.
You're telling him to be better.
I'm
Okay.
telling
No,
both
I'm
of
telling Dan to be better.
I'm telling both of you. I'm telling both of you to be better because I know how long this man has been talking on the radio. Do you understand how grueling this man's life has been in sports media? He's had a hit television interview show in New York. He's had a daily radio show, and he's bouncing around the United States with the New York Yankees. The Yankees have aged him 15 years in the last 5 years.
Those are choices Michael made, by the way. I mean.
Correct. He's insatiable, and he wants to talk about sports until he dies. And but Michael, you've given up here a little bit of your workload now, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on to celebrate you. And forgive me here, Nick and David, for making the room for this. The reason I was actually calling and wanted to have you on was to celebrate a truly legendary career that has come through print journalism and mastered all of the crafts to get to the freedom and the luxury that you have as being one of the kings of New York in the biggest sports radio market that there's ever been. So thank you to Michael K. On a totally overwhelming career that we're here to celebrate.
Yeah, I feel a little uncomfortable, Dan. Sounds like a eulogy. Doesn't sound really.
They always do it, Dan.
It's his specialty.
Yeah, I'm not.
He would
real,
go to
I'm
your
not real
funeral.
happy.
No, he won't.
Oh, I definitely want to have a funeral before I die because I want to see what people actually really have to say, and then I'll come back and get them.
Wait a minute. David Samson, did you just try to play the game with Michael K? Would I attend your funeral? Did you just try to do that?
No, he already said, David, he said he wouldn't.
I said that I wouldn't, and neither would you, Dan. Now, Nick may be there holding up some sort of sign of protest or some sort of sign of love, but I would say, Dan, that's an easy game. Would you go to Michael K's funeral? I'm a no on that. Now, maybe if Bob Costas were doing the eulogy, we'd have to reconsider.
Wow. Would you go to Bob Costas' funeral, David?
Of course he would. I mean,
It's become more of a possibility recently, but it depends on timing.
Well, David, you've made the classic error of thinking that you would have been invited, so I'm not sure that you would have been welcome. I wanted Dan there, but he made it clear months ago that he wouldn't go.
Michael K., would you attend Dan Le Batard's funeral?
If it was close to where I was, if I had it on a plane, no.
And who here would attend Nick Turturro's funeral?
Me.
If it was in New York, I'd go.
No, I don't think you would, Michael.
I would.
Don't. You're too busy. You're doing stuff every day. You wouldn't cancel like any plan you had to go to Nick Turturro's funeral.
Well, I wouldn't cancel the Yankee game because Nick would respect that. But I would probably get out of the radio show to go to the wake.
Get out of the radio show is key.
I love this game so much. Would you go to their funeral? No, but maybe if it's close and there isn't traffic.
Or it gets me out of work.
Michael, how are you as a gift wrapper? Because Greg Cote is in the other room and he's telling us he's an expert gift wrapper. I don't imagine from among our group of three here that we have any good gift wrappers.
I'm excellent. Excellent. I wrap a lot of the kids' gifts, although Jody does a lot of it, but I actually like to wrap gifts. I'm surprised at Greg. I really am.
Well, Greg, what do you have there? Can you please get in here? Are you going to start wrapping that gift, or are you not going to start wrapping the gift? Like, what are you waiting for?
I was waiting for a cue.
Yeah.
We told you go 10 minutes ago.
You've been there 45
did you?
minutes. What are you doing?
Okay, this is a diabolical shaped gift because it's not square or rectangle.
What are you doing with that wrapping paper?
I'm cheating here. I'm taking a little bit of a detour because of the shape of the gift. But we're getting by. We're getting by. Rome was not built in a day.
All right, we'll come back to that. I appreciate Nick and Michael K watching that with us and David Samson.
Thank you.
We'll come back to that wildly entertainment segment shortly. Nick, I'm not going to eulogize Michael K anymore, but why don't you explain to the people, as somebody who is, like, Michael, look at the room that he's in. Nick is a Yankee fan at the core. Nick knows the company he's keeping right now as a voice in his head from when he went from his childhood sportsdom to an adult.
Is Michael retiring? I mean,
he is leaving one of his 74 jobs soon or thereafter. But I would like Nick to tell us what Michael K is as an announcer to him in New York, as a voice for New York.
Well, he's the voice of the Yankees, the modern-day voice of the Yankees. He's not the voice I grew up with, but for the last, 20, 30 years, Michael K and John Sterling, they represent the Yankees. Yes Network. I mean, Michael's the guy. On the radio, it was John. Growing up, Michael knows it was WPIX. It was Phil Rizzuto, Frank Meza, Bill White. So Mike has become a family friend, an institution with Yankee baseball. He was a Yankee fan, and now he became an announcer for the Yankees. He was a sports writer, but he is with the Yankees. He's identified. You think of the Yankees, you think of Michael K. But growing up, it was a different story, and Michael probably feels the same way.
Well, Nick is younger than me, but I'm like Nick. There were 4 male voices in my house: my dad, Phil Rizzuto, Frank Messer, and Bill White. That was it.
That's the coolest. Yeah. It's such a cool experience here, Michael, watching, I don't know how much more career you have left on all of the fronts.
Have you been talking to my doctors? What are you doing?
Damn.
I know, it's weird. I mean,
what are you doing? Michael, I'm sorry.
Michael, you also left your show to just start another show earlier in the day. So are you working less?
I am working less, but the Yankees, I mean, I have a long-term contract, Dan. Don't push me out.
I want to celebrate one of your careers that's sort of...
Yeah, it really sounds like a celebration, Dan.
He's not ending anything. He's just moving to earlier in the day. I mean, afternoons to middays.
I have worried about Mike for a long time because I feel like he works too much. And so what I'm happy about is that this portion of his career, he gets to celebrate that he works less.
And that's fair. But, Stu, you have one thing wrong.
What's that?
You said I'm going to middays. Now, the longest time afternoon drive with Mike and Chris was 1 to 7. Mm-hmm. So I'm just at the start of afternoon drive.
Okay.
I'm not at middays.
Apologies. Yes, that is a big difference, and I apologize. I should have known better, Michael.
Michael, before we get you out of here, the state of the Yankees, who have had the sport wrestled away from them by the Dodgers and are not used to losing revenue fights. The state of the Yankees is what now, where a World Series appearance is somehow a disappointment because they've got a cataclysmic collapse in a 5th inning?
Wow, that was quite the question. I don't think they've wrestled the sport from them. And, they and revenue-wise, the Yankees have the highest revenue of any team in baseball. So I think they'll be fine. I really do. I mean, you look in the American League, they're the best team in the American League. And I don't think that they're done whatsoever in terms of the moves that they're going to make. So I think that they've rebounded nicely. Getting Max Fried was great, a little bit of an overpay. Devin Williams was outstanding. And I think a Cote Bellinger is going to do really, really well for them. I think they still have moves to make. So, listen, all you have to do is beat the Dodgers in a best-of-7. And if the Yankees had not had Nestor Cortez pitch to Freddie Freeman in the first game, and if they hadn't given up those 5 unearned runs in the 5th game, I think if the series returned to L.A., I think the Yankees would have had a chance to win.
And if I were 6'4", I could dunk.
And you're not, you won't.
And there it is. That is why he's the radio legend that he is. That is why he's always quick on his feet.
Early afternoon drive, Dan.
That's right. Yes. Thank you. Michael, I love seeing you. Happy holidays. Nick, I thank you for being on the show with us. We will have you on again whenever it is the Yankees enrage you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Sure, my pleasure.
Bye, guys.
You're welcome, Dan. See ya.
Well,
welcome.
I got to get your movie review while we check in with Greg Cote here to end your segment because we've thrown a lot at you here, David.
I would like Nick to have the ability to join us whenever Nick feels like joining us.
That's a terrible idea. David, your movie review as Greg Cote tries to get this right the last 50 seconds and give us the dismount with a perfectly wrapped gift.
I would tell you that Mike Ryan is having me watch movies that make me incredibly uncomfortable, and I did it for you, Mike. I watched Heretic. Heretic is a movie with Hugh Grant, and it's about the Book of Mormon. Hi, my name is Elder Cunningham, Josh Gad, except 2 Mormon missionaries go to a door. Hugh Grant answers, and it starts the process of an amazing theological discussion. The first part of the movie is really cool about everything you think about religion, and then it gets weird when you realize there may be no way for them to ever leave, which was my worst nightmare. I felt trapped. I felt anxious. I felt nervous. I was texting Mike while I was watching because I was doing it in the middle of the night. I didn't press send. I did send later, Mike. You're welcome. But I was scared, so I ended up with all the lights on by the end. I had the theater door open, and I stopped watching the movie to do laps around the house to make sure there was no one in there. All in all, it was an uncomfortable watch, but an important watch where you can have great discussions.
I'm sorry I'm laughing. I'm just enjoying Michael Kay and Nick Turturro
They can't get out.
watching your movie segment as Greg Cote wraps gifts.
Just hit leave, Michael.
See you later.
And Nick.
Goodbye.
There's a button. That's all you got to do.
I'm gonna say something good. I don't know. Maybe a good movie. I mean, I don't know.
I was not going to watch that, but after that review, David, I might. I don't think I'll feel trapped because I will know it's fiction, but I loved it.
I get scared all the time, Michael, and you can't watch it. You have young children, I believe.
10 and a 12-year-old.
That is way too young. They may not watch this movie. You will be stuck with them in your bed for the rest of your life.
So that was chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some tension in the room here because Mike Ryan and Amin, a real fight broke out. A real, I'm defensive about basketball. How dare you say hockey has become more important than basketball? And we all got, uncomfortable around them shouting at each other. It escalated to MFer for no reason whatsoever. Can we get Amin? Mike has left. I don't know where he is. I hope this doesn't spoil the holiday party that it doesn't seem anyone wants to go to. And Amin is still here. He's flown in. Like he was in Vegas, and he cares deeply about his sport. His sport is under attack, man. Like Adam Silver, it wasn't that long ago that he was the leader of all leaders, and he knew how to be progressive in ways that would make the sport evolve. And since then, basketball has been used as a political tool for its social commentary, and if you go woke, you go broke, NBA, you did all the social justice stuff, and now look at your ratings, and look at how everyone says it's three-pointers or something else. Amin is defensive about his sport for good reason. Like, he cares deeply, cares more than most of the people consuming it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I care deep. I don't want to compare, but I think the problem is many of the arguments are straw man arguments. They're red herrings that you guys are following. For instance,
straw man.
Thank you. Forgot we had that sounder. For example, I'll give you an example, Dan. You mentioned it yesterday when I was on the show briefly, but the Bulls and the Hornets played a game where 75 missed three-pointers. And everybody was like, oh, my God, this is why the NBA sucks. And I said, okay, so the headline is 2 horrible teams play against each other and play in a horrible game, and that's what we're judging the sport on. That's what we're doing? Why don't we judge it off Raiders, Panthers, and NFL? Like we could do this across the board. There are bad teams in every sport, and bad teams play bad games. The reality is everyone who's crying about the lack of a mid-range shot in the NBA or the demise of the mid-range shot is, you look around the league. Does Steph Curry shoot mid-range shots? Yes or no?
Occasionally.
Not occasionally. He shoots quite a few.
If you say so.
Kevin Durant?
Yes.
Devin Booker?
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler?
Sure.
Jason Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown,
Yep.
Luka Doncic,
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
Okay, so it seems to me the mid-range shots we got rid of was from the Eric Snows of the world. That's what you guys are missing.
Carlos Boozer.
You're missing all these guys who.
I do miss Eric Snow. I have to be honest with you. Yeah, you're not certain if it's going to go in. The guy might have
you're pretty certain it's not going to go in.
Right.
Stugotz, you missed the.
But I got you 8 assists. I mean,
Stugotz, you missed the Tyrone Hill pick and pop 18-footer.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You missed Kurt Thomas on the baseline.
I do actually. Yes, money. Yep.
Udonis Haslem. Remember when he learned how to shoot?
Yeah.
See, like Dan. That's the mid-range shots that got legislated out of our game, because basically what we told every role player is, hey, either you're going to make a three to spread the defense out so that Luka and Steph and Kevin Durant can do these amazing things that we all actually paid to see. We want to see those guys do amazing things. So you need to stand out there at the three-point line so the defenders can't just sag and sit right there and help. Or you're going to be an amazing athlete who's going to catch lobs and dunks like Clint Capella and Rudy Gobert and all these guys that just exist for an alley-oop in case someone tries to collapse. What we got out of the game was all the people we didn't want to see shooting. That's what we got. Now, are you going to have nights when people shoot poorly? Yeah, that's the game. But like to base it all on one thing like that, to me, the NBA doesn't have a three-point problem. It doesn't have a load management problem, despite what you guys were ridiculously talking about earlier. What the NBA has is a marketing problem. We don't know how to market our game in a way that's salient. I just came back from Vegas, the NBA Cup. You know who there was an abundance of with great access to everything? Influencers. And that's awesome. These people have millions of followers. They get millions of views on Instagram. You know what the NBA has not yet learned how to monetize? The internet, right? So if we say, hey, the way we make our money more than anything is people watching on TV. Let's market to the number one audience that doesn't watch TV. That's what we're doing. And I'm like, that's the part where we're behind. Or maybe we're ahead. Maybe the NBA says, look, in the future, no one's going to watch TV. And then we'll have the market cornered. For sure. But right now, our metrics for success are not measuring the things that we are going after. And that's your problem. It's not wokeness. It's not load management. It's not three-pointers. It's not any of that.
Yes, still super defensive.
Yep. Mm-hmm. More defensive.
Yeah. He is. Put it on the poll,
Thorough.
please, Juju. Do you miss the Tyrone Hill pick and pop 18-footer?
Mm-hmm. How about the Kurt Thomas baseline jet? I mean,
I have a solution. I've seen a lot of people the last few weeks doing the topic of like, how can we fix basketball? And I'm going to play the game. But
Let's
I have
fix
one.
it.
I have
Yeah.
one that I haven't heard.
Let's do it.
You miss 4 straight three-pointers, power play for the other team.
Wow, I love
One
it.
guy leaves the court for a full minute.
I mean, this is a dangerous area.
Wow.
When Billy Chris
like
and
it.
Stugotz try to fix your sport, when they try to fix your sport with rule changes, this is a terrible place for your sport to be.
Well, Amin doesn't get to decide for me why basketball is no longer as popular for me as it used to be, okay? You don't get to do that. I am telling you that when I go to games, I never go to games, but if I went to a game, I have questions as to who's going to be playing in that game, and then the style of play is not something I'm a fan of. I don't like 54 threes a game. I don't like it. In fact, you should be limited to 23 attempts per game, and that's it.
Why 23?
That would 20.
No, 23.
23s.
I thought you
I
were
thought you said 23.
I thought you
That's
were doing
it.
a Jordan homage.
Yeah. Jordan.
Now, we are trying to change the rules. Greg Cote came to me before the show, and he said to me, 3 should be 2s and 2 should be 3s. I agree with that. I do. He wants a 3-point layup.
Yes.
So Greg, let me pitch you this. And maybe it's too gimmicky for Greg Cote, but let me give it a try.
We'll
I mean,
see.
2s
I'll
are
be the
3s,
judge
3s
of
are
that.
2s.
So
I mean,
in base, well, I got one better than that. Stugotz. Watch this. In baseball, how far is a home run from home plate?
It depends on the park.
Depends on the park.
From 312 feet to 412 feet.
Right? And we could say that some teams have players that benefit greatly from the way the park is designed, right? Yeah. What if the three-point line was subjective by NBA Arena? So if I'm Milwaukee, Giannis gets a lot of stuff in the paint. I'm putting the three-point line right there in the paint. Wow. If I'm Golden State, I'm like, no, I want it as far as possible. And now there's a little bit of strategy when you go from building to building. Hey, how many threes are we taking?
What about the power play thing?
I like the power play thing. I'm not going to lie.
How are you getting sucked into the fixed basketball conversation with ridiculous rules?
How about this? The paint is a ball pit.
How has Amin gotten
too far.
sucked into having the conversation about how to fix basketball when he doesn't agree that anything other than the marketing has to be fixed?
Because, Dan, I don't mind rule changes. If we're like, this is it.
Thank you.
Our game has changed rules more than probably any of the other sports. Maybe not football in the last 10 years. Those guys are going crazy.
I mean, Dan thinks we're doing this wacky thing when we try to change
We
the
are.
rules. He laughed at the golden at bat. Now they're seriously considering the
Yes.
golden at bat. We're not doing anything wacky. We're trying to improve the sports that we love. That's all.
Save the sports summer.
All right,
Yes.
so
Right.
let's
Even though influencers were there.
3-point layup.
let's put a bookmark in it. Thank you.
So good.
Both
He
of
likes
you.
that.
That's perfect show right there. Billy muttering influencers, and then Greg Cote coming in over the top.
Don't you think it would be great if points in the paint counted as 3?
I don't want to do this right now.
A skyhook?
All right, just hold on to it. We'll get back to it. I got to go out to Stoic Roy. I've got to continue our toy drive. You guys forgot that
Roy
we're still
Drive.
doing this today. Thank you. The Roy Drive. We want an assortment of new and unwrapped gifts. We will be out there tomorrow again. Dolphin Mall, 111401 Northwest 12th Street.
New toys.
Let's go out here to Roy. We're going to be here tomorrow as well, and we're telling you, we're taking gifts 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday this week. Corner coffee here at the Elser, and I will match whatever toys it is that we get. Let's check in again with Roy. Roy, give us an update there. I see that you are resplendent with more toys than you had before as people come in, from all over America to give you toys. How's it going out there?
Well, it's much, much better now. We've gone from 2 toys to about what seems to be about 15 right now. So we have gained some traction on the toy drive, or the Roy drive, as you like to call it.
Is Rose there? Can it become a Rose drive? Is that Rose doing that in the background? It is Rose. Rose is. You want to bring her
Yes,
over? You want to help
unfortunately, it's
produce
Rose.
your own segment there, Roy? You want to help with
around
what's
back
happening?
or something?
Or you want to wait for a bunch of a team of enablers to come and help Santa Roy be better at producing here? Thank
Yeah,
you,
she
Rose.
was doing the bell, yeah.
Right, it was Rose doing the bell.
Festive.
Festive, yes, the bell. Thank you, Rose. Roy, can you please ask Rose to give us an update on how things are going out here if she can't hear me? How things are going out there at the toy drive?
It's going great. We're cheering here, Roy, with.
Can you get low? Can you get lower, Rose?
Yeah, we can't see your head.
Rose, we can't see you.
There we
Thank
go.
you. Yes,
Hi, Rose.
you're too high.
See me
Yes, yes, we can see you now. You're dressed like an elf. It's wonderful. Yes, thank you. Give us a toy drive update, please.
It's going great. We've seen a lot of people, so we need more people to come because we need more gifts. But it's going great. We're having fun, right, Roy? Right, Roy?
Sure.
Yeah.
I have a new nickname for Roy this week only. Can I unveil it? Roy Jingle Bell Amin.
I like it.
Thank you.
I do too. So does Rose.
Thanks, Greg.
You get
Thank
it, Dan?
you. You're welcome, Roy.
No, it's too complicated. It's gone over my head. All right, Rose and Roy, any final words here from the Roy Drive as you go up here? 18 more minutes, a grueling day out in Dolphin Mall on the cusp of the Everglades.
Go, it's her.
Well, please come tomorrow as we continue the toy drive. I heard that Billy might be the one in the Santa costume. That's
Roy, your
the Santa
mustache
hat in
is
this
falling off,
big
and you
theater.
haven't done a good job of
And you heard
producing
wrong.
this segment, and you heard wrong. Thank you for all your good work out there. Appreciate your
I heard
efforts.
wrong.
Yes.
Well, Billy's not showing up?
All right, thank
That's
you.
a
I don't
fake
know.
beard?
I don't know. We have to talk to Billy. Roy, an excellent job producing yourself and Rose there, as if you've never done radio or television before. I appreciate all your
Thank you,
hard
Dan.
work out there. Yes, excellent broadcasting. Come back home for the holiday party. I'm sure you won't drink too much of the free liquor. Come on back.
You never know.
No, I'm pretty sure I do know. I'm pretty sure I do know that you will drink too much of the free liquor.
Christmas Tree Rollins.
I like
Wow.
it.
Yeah, that's
Very
pretty
nice.
good, huh?
I want to do a couple of things with you
Got
guys.
Frosty the Snowman.
We
Roy
need
Jingle
Jeremy to
Bellamy.
keep
Did you hear what he
working
said?
on those. Yes, those Christmas songs. Cody, your podcast, the Greg Cote Show, featuring Greg Cote,
Thank you.
Fine.
has, I can call him Miami legend, Alonzo Mourning.
I think he is.
Yes, of course he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And he's gone through a really rough year with health issues, and he's been very forward and out front with talking about what he's gone through, and we talked to him about it at length on the podcast. It's actually a pretty serious interview. We get nutty and everything because Christopher's a part of it, and he's asking inane questions that upset Zoe.
Yeah, I'm
but,
pretty sure Zoe hated me.
Yeah, but still, it was a good interview.
Well, I think you guys probably experienced when he says interviewed at length. There is no other kind of interview with Alonzo Mourning. He's a bit wordy.
He can be. That's the beauty of editing.
We tightened it up.
Okay.
What'd you ask him?
Yeah.
Just give us one tease.
What did you ask him that he didn't prefer?
Oh,
because
Greg.
Well,
Why
hold on.
no, but Greg, this is the Greg.
He has
setting
no
his
clue.
son up.
Greg,
No, he's not setting me up. He has no clue.
Greg,
Trying
how
to
do you
help.
not know how to promote what's on your own podcast and you have to go, son, what did we do? Like a doddering old man.
yeah, you'd think that he would have been prepared to answer that rather than make an issue of
You
the
tell
fact
him.
that I had asked.
I am prepared. We were making fun of you because you can't answer it.
But Greg, what was the best thing on your podcast? Please don't outsource that. Please answer the question as the host of your own podcast.
The best thing on my podcast was Alonzo Mourning talking very emotionally and about how terrified he was, thinking he was dying, and all that he went through, and why he's coming forward now to alert people to do the same and to get checkups and to be aware of their health. He talked a lot about the Overtown Youth Center that he founded 20 years ago, and about his work in Miami to promote affordable housing in areas that need it. And it's a very good interview.
And then he was also going around his office showing pictures with Obama and just all these people. And I was like, oh, these are all great pictures. Where's the sad photo with you and Jason Capono?
Yeah, he didn't like that.
He didn't like that. He was like, I don't associate with sad.
It's a good question, though. Yeah.
Well,
very good.
It's a very good question. You think it's a good question to ask Alonzo Mourning to insult a teammate by saying, "Hey, that Jason Capono who stunk."
Well, I was just more like, hey, you have all these fun ones. What's the saddest
Yes,
one?
right.
I imagine it's Jason Capono.
I am not Alonzo Mourning. Not really a laugher.
Well, he doesn't associate with sad either.
He was
Kind of in the middle there.
We caught him in a good mood. I think he's in a good mood. Yeah,
It's hard to tell where you stand with Zoe. I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't
right.
think it is hard to tell.
Really?
I think you better be careful. Yes,
Really?
yes. I think Alonzo Mourning over the years has earned the reputation as somebody who can be very stern and serious. And you be careful. Don't insult him by being too playful. He's
Right.
Playful's not really his. Not playful among teammates, maybe. Playful among journalists, not so
Right.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Do you think Zoe would like the 3-point layup? Or?
Ooh, good question.
I
Did
think
you
he
ask
would.
that?
Yeah, no, you know what? Damn it, I didn't.
Oh, get him back on.
Man.
Can I get some sound here to help Greg Cote promote podcasts in general? The comedian Andrew Santino is on this week's edition of South Beach Sessions. He is climbing very quickly up of comedy ranks, and he has gotten popular friends with famous people. The Kelseys, he has become friends with Patrick Mahomes, and he is a Bears fan. And his fellow Bears fans are yelling at him for rooting for the Chiefs. They say he cannot root for the Chiefs, so he's got something to say to them on the recent edition of South Beach Sessions.
No, but I get so much crap for cheering on Kansas City because everyone online is like, you're a Bears fan, you're a Bears fan. And let me say this to your audience. I am a Bear. I'm a diehard Chicago fan for the rest of my life, okay? But you go get yourself 2 Hall of Fame Super Bowl champion friends. Go get two of them, and then you tell me you're not going to root for their team a little bit, okay? Okay? It pisses me off when people are like, what are you, sell out? Sell out? 2 of my friends are Hall of Fame current players. What are you not going to root for them? What are you talking about?
You need to not be friends with them so that you can only root for the Bears.
That's insane. That's an insane. Like, this is an ideology that I think America still has, where they're like, you can't do that. You sell out. You cross it over there. Really, dude?
The fans are right. I mean, they should be outraged. Not a Bears fan.
Plus, his friends aren't technically in the Hall of Fame yet.
Right.
I mean, that's being a little presumptuous.
Yes.
Which one of them do you not see going to the Hall of Fame?
Either.
Either of them.
What?
No,
What are
they
you
got a long way to
talking
go.
about?
They are playing their
Got
way
to win
out
a
of
couple
it.
of more rings.
They don't have a long way to go. They'd both be in the Hall of Fame if their careers ended today.
We'll see about that.
No,
if their careers ended today.
Oh, I like that.
I like this spin on this
I'm
game.
with Dan on this one, Greg.
They would both be in the Hall of
5 years
Fame.
from the day.
No, not 5 years from the day. If their career ended today, they should walk
Straight to the Hall of Fame?
Not even take off their uniform. Just walk straight to the Hall of Fame, both of them.
How about Russell Wilson? If career ended today, because he played his way in and then out, but now he's had another good season.
He's inching back.
reinventing
Yeah.
himself.
What do you think, Dan?
Billy, thank you for bringing that up. I do appreciate it. Let's talk about that Aaron Rodgers documentary.
You guys watch that yet, or what?
No, I see it every weekend.
Dan, you like documentaries. We know this. I find myself falling for the traps of the documentaries. So I texted two people. I saw that the Aaron Rodgers one came out yesterday, and I was like, well, this is going to be a talking point. I should probably watch this. But it's 3 parts, and I started watching at 9:30 at night, which is usually when I fall asleep. So I knew it was going to be a task to watch all 3 episodes last night, but I texted 2 different people. When I started, I go, I'm mentally preparing myself to like Aaron Rodgers when this is done. Because that's how these documentaries always go. You always end up thinking like, oh, Joe Exotic is really not that bad a guy. And it's like, well, he kind of is. So, like, all these documentaries make you sympathetic towards the person and then, like, somewhat liking them at the end. So I went in there saying, I'm probably going to like Aaron Rodgers when this is done. Not that I dislike him now. I'm just like, I feel like it's going to be very pro Aaron Rodgers. I kind of feel bad for him. What? Like, watching it. Yeah.
The family stuff?
It just... And you guys can watch it, and I'm not going to give you too much information. It's incredible access. And I also realize no one is living life without a camera crew around them anymore in 2024 because this starts pre-Jets injury. Like, he already had the camera crew there. He was already doing stuff before he got injured. And then you kind of are then following him as he got injured, through his recovery. Then you're kind of going back in time, learning about how he kind of came up through the ranks, had to play at a junior college, all that stuff.
So the project started when he joined the Jets?
It started like right before he joined the Jets, I think. And so I don't think this necessarily was supposed to be how it went, but it became this other thing. And then it's broken up into like 3 different episodes, and each episode is like a different story that they're telling about Aaron Rodgers. So far, 2 episodes in, like 2 1/4 in, because I fell asleep in the 3rd. I feel bad for him and it's not the way that you think. I feel bad for him in that, like, he doesn't seem happy. Like, it seems like he spent his entire life wanting one thing, and that was to, get to the NFL. It was to get to Division I school, then it was to get to the NFL, then it was to win the Super Bowl. And he did all of that, and then there just seemed to be, like, an emptiness in him. And now he's just spent the rest of his life trying to fill that feeling and chase, like, meaning, really. So it's kind of sad because he's accomplished all this stuff and seems to still think he's not enough, and he's not really, doesn't have this meaning in his life. And he's just kind of seeking it out and searching it in all these different areas.
I would assume, just based on watching a public meltdown that doesn't have any precedent for me in terms of how a superstar has disintegrated for years into being one thing, then becoming something else. I have thought, watching from afar, as his family stuff has become uniquely public for an athlete, that part of the problem at every turn is that joy is only so joyous if it isn't shared with people. Like, if he's having trouble with his relationships with women and he's having trouble navigating fame and he doesn't have his family to share any of it with, like, who's Aaron Rodgers sharing love with? They're going to be friends and stuff, but the journey he's taken over the last few years, I don't know who those friends are, what they look like, or how distorted his entire life has gotten, because he's gotten sort of brain-fried internet rot brain, and I don't know who's telling him much of anything about, like, hey, Aaron, are you, like, with the rest of us? Or are you just over there still on McAfee at 4 and 10 talking about show me your vax status when we're all looking at your season and the end of your career and saying, man, you were really one of the best to ever do this. Why does it have to look like this at the end?
He was a 4-time MVP. From what Billy is saying, though, it also seems like, and Dan, you have discussed this, we have discussed this a lot over 20 years, is reaching the pinnacle of your profession at such an early age. And then what do I do when this is done?
Oh, but he's still enjoying, like, nobody gets this long. I know we've made advancements with medicine and everything else, but somebody's going to want him next year. Because
the Jets.
The last month, he's looked like he can move around.
He's been good.
And he's been really accurate, and he's again playing for his job, and that's not normal at that age. But I have seen what Stugotz's Jets have done over 40 years.
Nothing.
I thought Aaron Rodgers over the last 4 games would have been what they were getting all season. They have lost 7 one-score games, 0-7. I thought Aaron Rodgers was there, so that would be 7-0.
Yep.
No, and so if they're 7-0, like I thought, well, if I replace Zach Wilson with Aaron Rodgers, and he thought that's how it would go. That's why he's doing that whole documentary. He thought he was going to be great in New York because he's one of the best to ever do it. Like, that's not up for dispute. I'm not going to have that erased by the last 3 years.
It's not really like a football documentary, though. Like, his rehab is covered, and you're kind of seeing how he's trying to get back. But, like, it tells his football story, but it's really more like who Aaron Rodgers is and how he got here. Is kind of what it is. Like, it goes back to like his very Christian upbringing, and then the fact that he went to more of a liberal college and how it had him start questioning things because he kind of got out of the bubble that he was in, and then he started really having more questions in life. And then as he had more success and he wasn't finding happiness, he then started looking for happiness and reading books and finding happiness in different places that then take him down these different paths. Like, it's kind of interesting, but like, you do feel bad for him. The one thing that I would say is that, like, some of the stuff, and it's not meant to be judgmental, but some of the stuff that he's like, well, I didn't really want any of this. And it's like, yes and no. Like, yes, you wanted to be a great football player, but like, also, he said that he kind of lost. Like, once he won the Super Bowl, everything changes. He became a public figure. He was never seeking that out or the fame or whatever. And it's like, maybe not, but like, you also decided to be the State Farm guy that kind of really elevated you into like a household name everywhere. So like, there's things like that were decisions that were made. You know, he even alluded to some of the people that he's dated. He even talked about the family stuff to an extent. So, like, there's a lot in there, and you kind of see how he got to where he got to, whether you agree with what he's doing or not. But, like, at the end of the day, judgment aside, like, I kind of hope he just finds happiness, you know what I mean? And, like, finds some sort of meaning and fulfillment in his life, because that's really what he seems to be searching for, just in places that are not necessarily where you and I would.
The Jets.
Well, yeah, that.
It has seemed over the last 5 years, once you're into ayahuasca, once you're getting to the ayahuasca portion of your journey, you're really searching.
Well, that started earlier than we think, too, if you watch it, because I think he's gone to like 4 or 5 retreats now. And I think it goes back deeper than the initial one that, like, the big one, like a year and a half ago or whatever. Like, he had already done that a couple of different times.
It's one hell of a midlife crisis, man.
I don't know that I would call it a crisis. Like, watching it, like, his behavior is not what I think most people would do, but like, I see how and why he's doing it. I don't necessarily need to agree with it. I just kind of feel bad that he's going through it, and he just feels as though, seemingly, as someone who's just watching a documentary that he produced, he's going through seemingly not, I guess, being truly happy and accepting of himself.
I mean, isn't that the entirety of the journey, though? I don't want to go too self-help on this, but once you get to some form of better self-love that's forgiving for yourself, then you love others better and you allow them to love you better as well. He's probably wandering through life feeling a little alone and empty because of his absence of connections and looking for spiritual enlightenment through ways that kill the ego with ayahuasca, because it seems pretty obvious over the last 5 years that he's searching to be happier. But is that a path to be judged, or is that a path to be celebrated? Once you get out there with all of these political opinions and look for all of these fights, though, that's not a happy place. Like, it's hard to be fighting the entirety of the internet for 5 years, pretending you don't care about anybody's opinion, when you're the guy who went to Mina Kimes' like, wherever she was. You wanted to so badly be understood by the public that you did a magazine story where you went to where Mina Kimes was, her home, because you wanted so badly to be understood by the public. That's not the behavior of somebody who doesn't care to be understood. But I will tell you where it is that I have felt more loved by my wife than I have ever felt loved before. Wherever understanding and acceptance are, it's a craving. It's really strong, and you will find it around love, people who understand and accept you. Like, I don't know how much of that he's getting that would feel like fulfillment, understanding and acceptance, which is how you arrive at making a documentary that has access where you're showing everybody everything, or trying to.
It's crazy access, too. Like, there was cameras with him when he had a conversation with RFK. They didn't show it, but spoiler alert, they didn't show it, but like, they showed him in the car driving back after going on a hike with RFK. And he's like, yeah, he just asked me to be vice president. So, like, that wasn't a rumor. That was like, he asked him that day to be his vice president, which is kind of wild. Then they have the camera crew go with him to Costa Rica to these ayahuasca retreats. Oh, boy, he's high.
Really?
He's playing a little drum there, and he's singing and dancing. Like,
I love it.
But that's his group. That group of people he finds to be, you know, it's giving him what he's searching for. Then he goes to like this charity game days after this retreat. Man, Josh Allen comes out so nice. What a nice, loving guy. Just comes out, he's like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Great to see you. What a happy guy that guy is.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Funny face.
I'll let you know how episode 3, the tease was.
Right.
The whole vaccination situation.
You fell asleep in the third, huh?
You go.
Well, I do that every Sunday. Yeah.
Well, the thing is like they're each like an hour and 6 minutes long. I start watching it. I have to pause, let the dogs out, do this whole thing. Yeah. And then like I come back, I'm dozing. And I could have tightened it up slightly, a little bit. But it's interesting. I would say if you really want to, and you don't have to, reserve judgment while you're watching it, and then maybe it's a more enjoyable experience, or you can get something out of it. If you go in there and you just want to hate Aaron Rodgers, you probably find things to hate him for.
If you're struggling to connect with family, friends, you know what you should do? Take them to a sporting event. Take them to a concert. And you know how you do that? You download the Game Time app. You create an account. You use code Dan. We'll get you $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Chris, what time is it? Game time. Who?
You asked yourself.
People don't know that. Theater of the mind, Stugotz.
I like a new campaign with Game Time that begins with some form of, are you against sadness? Game time!
I get happier when I go to sporting events with friends. When I go to concerts, I'm instantly happier.
That's right. Are you lonely? Game Time will fix it.
It will.
I think you make a fair point about when Billy's talking about Aaron and his search for happiness and some of the stuff he's thrown himself into over the last, 4 or 5 years. He would find happiness, I would think, if he disconnected. He's too connected. Like, disconnect.
I would say that
Dan, you ever spend the day without your phone?
Yeah,
it's the greatest day of your life, I promise you.
Yes.
Don't you always reach for your pocket? You're like, where is this thing at?
Yeah. I have a heater, though.
Are we overcomplicated this, though, with Aaron Rodgers? If he's the king of New York right now, if his time with the Jets has been a massive success and they're headed to the playoffs and they're really good, are we still talking about how unhappy he is?
That's a good question, because the harder the times are, the harder it is to celebrate joy with others. Like 4 and 10 is going to seep into every aspect of your life, no matter who you are playing for that team.
And torn Achilles.
Well, I mean, if you're to believe the documentary and the way that it sets it up, winning the Super Bowl is really kind of what set this all off, because he reached the pinnacle of what he thought would be happiness and realized, I'm not happy.
Well, but
I did absolutely everything that I wanted to do professionally, and I thought that would bring me the happiness. And then once I got there is when things really started feeling like this is not what I wanted to feel.
So this is what I will tell you from there, and this one's super interesting too. Tyson Fury. Family, like everyone in the family is a street fighter. You get to heavyweight champion, and he looks up and he's like, here it is, all my dreams. Gains a bunch of weight, cocaine addiction, drinking, because all my dreams didn't look like I thought my dreams would look like. I will tell you, and you've heard me tell this story before, as a journalist, when I got to the sports reporters in Times Square at the ESPN zone and they were doing that show on Sundays, I'm like, this is the top of my profession. This is the highest place that there is. And I looked around and I was immediately made sad by, is this my dreams? The bar smells bad. They were throwing up and urine and chairs on the tables. Like this was
before the Cleveland.
This was last night. This was last night in Times Square. What do you imagine? How much do you think New York humped the ESPN zone in Times Square the night before? Like, what do you imagine that place was like in Times Square? A zoo. And the following morning, deeply unpleasant. And the coffee table that was there was from 30 years ago, and Bob Ryan's breath was morning breath.
Still caught up on humped.
Yeah. Haven't heard that in a while.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you ever use humped as a term for fornication?
I had a similar experience, Dan, the first time that I finally got a chance to be one of the panelists on Around the Horn. I thought that it was going to feel great, and it did. It's the best feeling I've ever had. I mean, seriously, I miss doing it. I miss Reali. I miss Sedano. I miss the crew. It's exactly what I expected, but more. I mean, how about that?
Well, that's why you're the industry titan that you are, joyously swinging from vine to vine, enjoying whatever candy there is out there. You did a great job, Greg Cote, with the gifts.
Thank you.
Stugotz has said Izzy is out there trying to rival you. Stugotz has said that this
this man can rap. I mean,
and the bigger gift.
That's your unicorn.
Okay,
Yeah,
that is
was
the
a challenge.
unicorn.
Yeah.
That was a challenge.
That was a challenge.
These do seem like very well wrapped gifts. I'll give him that.
Thank you. I saw Izzy. Izzy's got rap game. I saw him.
Yeah, I saw it.
He was doing some good work out
He's
there.
just cutting paper.
A little heavy on the tape, but that would be my only critique.
I feel a little bit disappointed. I feel disappointed that that Izzy, immediately tried to wrap gifts to rival you, and you're just giving him a bit of a condescending. Yeah, you're pretty good too, kid.
I complimented his rap game.
You did, but you're
It's the KG
but,
bet,
but
right?
like Dave Hyde, he doesn't quite rise to the level of one Greg Cote, right?
Well, you said it.
You're being polite during the holidays. How did you feel about Izzy's rapping game?
I thought it was great. I would accept that gift.
Right.
And I don't even know it was in there. But because he wrapped it, I would accept it.
Wait, has there been a gift that's been poorly wrapped that you didn't accept?
Oh, I look down on badly wrapped gifts. Yeah. I'm going to be very honest with you. My wife is a wonderful person.
What?
She sort of,
Oh, no.
goes really quick with the gift wrap.
Put
that's
it.
true.
No.
She probably buys 7 times the amount of gifts that you wrap.
At least.
That's what I mean. Like, she has a lot to wrap.
No.
But they're all coming in cardboard boxes on the doorstep. So.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you look down on poorly wrapped gifts? Also, from and by your wife.
Dude, the Monday Night Football, man. I went to Raiders and Falcons.
Yeah.
Pretty. It was a great experience, but I was surprised how many Falcons fans wore Deion Sanders jerseys.
Yeah.
But I thought there would be way more Michael Vicks, and there weren't. There weren't, like, there was like maybe 2 or 3.
They just started making those jerseys back available, actually.
Oh, for real?
Because they, like Mitchell and Ness and the people who make the Deons, they didn't do that.
Oh, so that's why. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a lot of, because I remember when you had your Deion jerseys, they're like, wow, where'd you get that? And then I'm like, I didn't know there were this many Deion jerseys out there.
Right. Hey, mine from actually 1994.
Yeah,
that's neither here nor
that's
there.
what I'm saying. Like you have one that was like a original prod, right?
I've rarely seen a game, and you mentioned that Monday night game, Falcons-Raiders, where I just look at it on the schedule, and I'm like, why is this here? Why do I have 2 Monday night games? It's a terrible game I have no interest in. I mean, you went to it, so I guess it was good for you. But I just remember looking at the schedule and just being like,
Well,
I'm cool if that game just doesn't happen.
It's not only a game that you didn't need. It immediately ends Kirk Cousins' career in Atlanta. We didn't even talk about that today,
Right.
and they won it. The team that won it,
that's the wild part.
The team that won it with 15 points has ended Kirk Cousins' career, and the Raiders do nothing but lose. And that Antonio Pierce idea, not a great one.
Stat of the day.
Dan, there were a bunch of people walking around with signs that said "Just tank, baby." The Raider fan base is very into tanking.
Juju, I wanted to get into a couple of things from today's show today, but what I'm really hoping, because I didn't see any of the feedback, and I stayed with it way too long, and I regret certain elements of it, but I hope. No, you're laughing at a different thing than I am, Chris, because
Michael K.
Turturro that too. Look, there were 3 or 4 times today that I stayed with something too long, but my favorite of the things that I stayed too long with was just trying to rummage around. What are you smiling about? Do you know what it is?
I know what I think you spent too much time on.
Give me. Let's see if it's the same thing.
Me versus Dave Hyde.
I love that so much.
Oh God, I hate
love
that
it so much.
I hate that so much.
Now, Juju, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Juju, not what are your thoughts, but Juju, what did the audience think? Did I stay with that too long? Because Greg Cote was trying to be nice about things, but I noticed that when I put Dave Hyde in his company, he did not like it. I physically felt it next to me.
Dan, you are going to be pleased because that is not what the audience is ablaze about today, John. Okay. So you're safe.
All right. Is it Amin and Mike Ryan going back and forth at each
I
other?
know, look, they're always ablaze about something or other. I would like to start by just updating some polls first to give us some holiday cheer. You feel me?
Yes.
Our office Christmas party is a great time for enthusiasm and dreams or horrible obligations. And 85% of the audience said a horrible obligation.
That's higher than I thought.
That's something.
That's all right, Juju.
It's not really cheerful.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? Okay, do you like this company office Christmas party? All right. 71% of the audience said no. Not really.
Happy holidays, everyone.
We're having 2 of these today. We're about to have a white elephant. Amin flew in from Vegas. Amin flew in for this.
Everyone keeps saying 2 of these. What's the other one?
We've got one
That's
tonight.
the one that is Sinjin. That's the two Americas. But I also it brought joy to my heart today that because I know Greg don't listen to these post game shows just routinely as I listen to the Greg Cote show featuring Greg Cote.
Yeah, thanks, Juju.
You did me.
Yeah.
But also he said that he want to see the 3-point layup. And if you refer to yesterday, I said, bruh, 3-point dunks. You feel me? If you dunk on somebody, 3 points. You feel me?
It
Just
was-
make it
it
just
was
as
Juju's
valuable.
first. It
I
was
think I worked a Steve Martin in there. If you listen back, I was like,
Juju had this many hours ago. He started changing the NBA rules long before Greg Cote started fixing the NBA.
Juju's one caveat was it has to be on someone though. For it to be 3 points, you have to dunk over a defender.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we still got it to the point where we needed to say that, yeah, it still needs some workshopping. But I think me and you, Greg, can get in the lab and pretty much come up with something by, I say, top of the year.
Hello, let's have a meeting. You know,
Yes,
a couple
sir.
of them.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, they did a good. They tried to make it seem like he was in Vegas wasting time, bro. I was locked into the tournament. It wasn't as like I didn't see the performance from the OKC that I assumed I would get, but at the same time, I was thoroughly entertained. Thoroughly.
Yes, and the people were asking for you, Juju. A lot of people were like, "Where's Juju?" I said, "He'll be back."
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. And I want to shout you out too during this Christmas holidays too. Like during the break I took, like, bro. Amin is one of the funniest people in the world. So him just sending me a little joke here and there, or him just checking in with me, it lifts my spirit so much. So in front of the whole world, bro, I want to say thank you and I appreciate you and your friendship throughout just since I've known you, bro.
Now you made it awkward.
That's nice. That's nice of you to say, but I will say that the most awkward thing here is how we all blew past Greg Cote's totally insincere offer to meet twice with Juju about changing the NBA's rules.
Well, we have to. You know, you can't do it by phone. You got to meet. You're gonna have an executive meeting. You know, we'll have
Yes,
people
sir.
taking notes and doing meeting stuff.
Yeah, but you're not going to do any of this. I want you to get together. You say, look, I've been waiting for it back in my day for about 6 months. You don't do anything around here that you say you're going to do.
Yeah, that kind of thing. You know, I mean, you know, we move on with life. We grow. We expand. I wrote a back in my day book. You want to hear back in my days? There's about 100 of them in here. Maybe 100, maybe 150 of them.
We've heard
Go
all
buy
those.
the book.
We've heard all
No,
those.
you haven't, because some of them are original. Some of them have not been heard in 10 years.
We played the original here.
Three of them have been
This is the
not
10th
heard.
anniversary book of Back in My Days. right here.
Three of them have not been heard, and three of them are allegedly new, and one of them you've done here already.
Damn right I have.
Greg, I'm going to suggest something because I've thought about this for Black in my day several times. If you pull one from like 7 years ago, will anyone remember?
Well, that's a good question. I will. That's
Only
the
this
problem.
one. Drawbridges.
Yeah,
God,
that's
I
my
love that
all-time
one.
favorite. Yeah. See, he should rerun some of the best ones, but he won't do it. This guy.
Dan, also
It's on you, buddy.
$100 fine for killing Michael K in front of Michael K for some odd reason.
You always do that, Dan. When you're trying to celebrate someone, you kill them.
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
Whenever
You
we
do that.
find out the system, whenever we find out a new finding system, you're negative 100 already off the bat.
Okay, I want to celebrate people and have them hear the things that I'd say at their funeral while they're alive.
But it's your tone, though. It's just the way you say it. You're too right.
Yeah, he was like, bro, did you hear something about me? And salute to that whole segment, bro. Like that, I had a smile on my face the entire segment. Even David Samson asked. I was laughing at him today with the other brothers from the New York brothers.
Turturro.
They was,
Yeah.
I don't know, he's Caucasian, two Americas, but I love all three of them brothers. It was a great segment, and the whole time, bro, I was like, dang, this is what it feel like. Like this is the feeling that I had when I came into the show. Like the hijinks and just the fun. Like without attending your funeral, like that's brilliant.
Well, Juju, thank you. That hour felt very good to all of us. If we're doing this in traditional post-game, let's break it down style. But I love the number of things about that hour, okay? One of my favorite things is that David Samson got shoved right off to the side of his own segment because,
And was resentful for it.
And we couldn't get rid of Michael K. and Turturro. They didn't want to leave the show because, and this is a great question, why is Greg Cote wrapping gifts over there?
I was wondering the same thing.
I'm not sure Turturro knew how to get off.
Well, both of them at any point could have just closed their computer or just hit leave on the Zoom. But I don't think they both. My favorite part of that segment was that the two of them at the end were still staring in. And I will say to the audience, if you listen to this via audio, the thing that made me roar with laughing is that I was yelling at Lewis because I could see that Turturro and Kay were still there, kind of trapped. And I'm like, put them on the screen. Put them so that people can just see the confusion of why are Michael Kay and Turturro staring at each other as Greg Cote wraps a gift.
So Dan, obviously I'm out there in the room where Greg is wrapping the gift, but we know his mic is hot. So all of us are kind of speaking in whispers and we're having side conversations. And at one point I remember looking up at the screen to see kind of what you guys were on. And I'm like, why is Nick Turturro and Michael Kay still here? Like it was like 40 minutes later. I'm like, they're still here?
I had said goodbye to them already.
I know.
Right? It was funny when Michael Kay was like, if the Yankees would have did this or another, they could have easily went to L.A. and got their last game. And David Samson, well, if I was 8 feet and could dunk, and Michael Kay was like, you won't and you won't.
Right. You aren't and you won't.
Yeah.
It was. I did kill Michael Kay. I will pay that fine at another time. Do you have anything else for us in the way of constructive criticism today? That Mike and Amin thing got heated over the defensive protection of basketball.
The people loved it.
Yeah, that definitely set the chat on fire. People love seeing it, and me personally, I can't tell what's a bit and what's real anymore, so I didn't lend any kind of emotion to it. I just saw it as two brothers who are talking shop,
I will reveal to the audience, I was surprised afterwards. Mike was legitimately, offended. And so
you will not reveal any such thing to the audience. We don't reveal. That's not what we do.
Major penalty, 5 minutes, screaming comedy.
You
hear that, brother?
We don't explain what the show is. You want that to be the post game? Get your own post game show.
Well, look, all I know is I love that brother. Michael, if you can hear my voice, just know I love you. People still love you online. People love Amin. It was like a Team Edward, Team Jacob situation. And so I think it was a healthy banter. Sorry if anybody was offended. I'm sure that wasn't anybody's intentions. But just know that it was great content, and I'm sorry if anybody was offended in that.
Much love, Juju. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.